He's walking right here. Hey, don't even look at him, dog. He's on that seat.
Rate my pitch, 1 out of 10.
Black fighters can't take pressure, man, and that's just one. Black fighters can't take pressure, man, and that's just one.
Okay, it's time for workout number 1. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Were you talking the whole meal fucking week?
So we said we have to use your name to sell the show.
Yeah. That's what I think.
Yo, what's up? What time it is, man? Salute to all the players in the building. Big happy holiday. I believe it's Labor Day weekend. All right, it's Labor Day. Hope you're all enjoying some brewskis with your chick or your side piece or your niños, grandkids. You know, if you don't have kids, hopefully you're with a couple bays. So let's get some salutes to Matador, Big Frank. Yes, salute. Pounds, a real one. Thank you. Mexican boxing #1, Canelo is the Gizzo. Frank Bay, Mars Boxeo. Yep. Alfredo. Yeah, man. Happy holidays. It's Labor Day. And as I was thinking, not a lot going on. Monster Inoue is fighting tonight, right? I believe it's at like 4 a.m. Tuesday night. Can someone in the chat, I know you guys are all big boxing heads, let a player know what time it is. 6:33 on the East Coast. Yes, promethazine, no offense. I don't know what I did. Y'all can't even cut off the ring. Well, that's an opinion. You know, one of the best to ever do it, Julio Cesar, was the best at it. And even Floyd Mayweather and his dad, Senior, said that Julio Cesar Chavez was the best fighter ever. Him and it's at 2 a.m. Is that when the card starts? And when does Inoue step in the ring? Since I've been watching the past couple fights in Japan against Neri, I think it was like 4 a.m. when it actually got started. So yeah, there is boxing. Card starts at 2. Yes, okay, thank you. So, you know, set your alarms if you're gonna stay up. I'll probably be drinking and drunk and passed out by that time. And you know, to be honest, man, who is Donhe? That's why I wanted to do this, man. You know, not a lot of hype going for Inoue. You know, before the Neri there was hype. Before Fulton there was hype. You know, Terrence Crawford is now fighting. BDA, that fight ain't worth waking up. I was just gonna say that, BDA. I was just gonna mention you. Salute BDA, a real one. BDA, you know, he has a lot of Inoue fans and he hasn't gone live. Usually he hypes up the Inoue fights, but even BDA's not feeling it. So, you know, wow, you know, it's crazy that boxing has taken this trend, man. What's going on with us, man? Are we this crabby, or are we this much of haterade, drinking haterade? We don't like the Canelo Berlanga. We don't like Inoue versus Donhe. You know, Crawford versus Madrimov was a good fight. You know, actually, check it out on YouTube. I got it on in the background. I got the volume off, obviously, because I don't want to get struck down. But Turkey Ali posted the full 9-hour footage of Crawford Madrimov. So take a look, man. Watch it. I'll watch the fight because I have nothing better to do. Well, it's at 4 a.m., man. I mean, you know, people got to get up the next day. I might do some salute Pounds. I hope it's lines of hopefully it's prescription. Okay. Hopefully it's something that you're prescribed, homie. But salute. Giscante Warrior. BDA, you're not a true boxing fan then? Damn, BDA get called out, huh? We need some BDA, man. People want to talk their shit, BDA. Salute. Boxing scene is dire right now. Yeah, man, not a lot of hype. And these are the best guys. They're getting paid a lot of money to fight, and the fans are tuned in and tuned out. I mean, what's going on? Are we just haters? Are we crabby about the fights? You know, I like the fights only non-real boxing fans say. Yeah, boxing is boxing. It's just like some poontang, right? It's good. Like even pizza, even when it's bad, it's good. They talked about what Ref and Who did. Let us know. I'm on vacation. Salute. Thank you for tuning in on vacation. I don't wake up for mismatches. Yeah, it's I mean, Donnie has to be a Buster Douglas type mismatch, right? Like 30-1. Yeah, man. It's really slow. Like I said, not a lot of boxing going on. So I thought I'd wake it up. We're all kind of just chilling on this Labor Day. And it's because someone, you know, I forgot. I know there's Veterans Day, there's President's Day. But what is Labor Day? Is it for veterans? I forgot. I feel dumb as hell now because I remember learning this in school. But Labor Day sounds kind of communistic, right? Is Labor Day for us, the elites, congratulating the peasants about working the land, right? On TBS channel yesterday. Oh, okay. Yeah, salute what rep it, man. Yeah, man, he was a real one. Hopefully one day he makes a comeback, Don't call it a comeback. Horrible fight. It's a fight boxing hipsters love, though. Salute BDA. Yeah, I mean, he's still number one pound for pound, right? Him, Crawford, and I know people don't have Canelo in their facts. I know people don't have Canelo number one, and if I said Canelo was number one, it would be a how would you say, a fanboy take. So guys, hit the like. Don't forget to hit the like. Frank does have a cash app. If you feel the need, not that you need to, but just appreciation. I'm gonna get a new mic so we can really talk. I'm gonna drop the link. How do you guys feel, man? I mean, man, boxing is dead, man. Boxing is dead. And if I say that, I mean, here a channel dedicated to boxing because I think we're all here because we love boxing. BDA is intimidated by me. I don't know, man. BDA, he lets everybody on. I've never seen him turn anybody away. But yeah, man. I mean, we have this is September. We got Inoue fighting. We got the Crawford just fought. I'm gonna say his name, Crawford. The Pacheco fight was late. Yeah, you know what? It wasn't, to me. It wasn't a true test. Boxing returning this September, Frank. Oh, right, yeah. But people are. I mean, okay. Are you BDA? Are you excited for Joshua and Dubois? Like, I mean, it's a decent fight. Dubois, I think he quit against Usyk, and he beat Hergovich. But I mean, is it a mega fight? I mean, it's doing really well in the UK. I think they're selling on 90,000, but for here, it's in the States. It's kind of ho hum. So. You got the big names, but they're not fighting the big names, and that's kind of the problem we always have in boxing, right? And Crawford just fight, and it doesn't look like he wants to return. So, like I said, hit the like. I dropped the link. But yeah, man. I mean, you know what? And the problem is that Canelo, Crawford, and Inoue, they only fight once or twice a year. That's the problem. BDA won't respond to my emails. I didn't even know he had an email. BDA hates boxing. With that talk, no. BDA, you gotta let him know, man. I'm sure BDA is with his hyenas and his children or grandkids, running things. Yeah, you know what, BDA, I feel the same way. It's like it's hard to get excited, right? And if he obviously has a larger audience, it's really hard to do a 2-hour, 3-hour show unless it just evolves into yelling and bickering and just a bunch of hate talk. We want to talk about boxing, but the fights have to be relevant. I'm excited for that Golden Boy Rider season card that was rumored. Yeah, it's rumored, and that was in November. It's a really good card. We'll see if it's pay-per-view. And Turkey Ali in the news was talking about that he wants to make pay-per-views $20. So BDA gets no girls with that nerd accent. Damn, man, BDA's getting attacked, man. BDA's a real one, man. He keeps the boxing alive. Damn, they're Russian. Okay, everybody's on BDA. See, BDA, you need to start doing some shows, man. I think the people are getting antsy, and you need to let them know, check them, But salute, man. Salute everybody here, man. Waking up on this Labor Day. Did anybody figure out what Labor Day, the meaning of Labor Day? Is it for the veterans or for the people that work the land in America? But it used to signify that before kids went back to school. Right, but I know kids start school in August, right? Kids start school like in the middle of August now, and I remember it used to be Labor Day signified the final vacation, last thing for summer, and then everybody goes back to school. BDA the GOAT, man, for real. Abel Saka, okay, I don't know what that is, but yeah, Monster Inoue is fighting tonight. He's many consider him pound for pound number one. They have either Terrence Crawford or Inoue. Number one or two, depending on, really just another day off of work. Yeah. Hopefully it's a payday, but stores and stuff are still open. Hopefully people are barbecuing. Labor Day, activists got us Labor Day. That's what I said. Is it for unions and stuff? Is it kind of, for the workers, when the workers revolted and united, right? Which is actually anti-American, right? Having labors and unions. But well, labor. I think if you're a labor, you're not part of a union. You're considered something else. But anyway, this is not a political firm. I just wanted to shout out everybody that is enjoying this day, and around the world. I don't know what you're doing, but let's talk some boxing. So number one, pound for pound, right? You either have Zepeda versus Tevin Farmer. I thought it was Cambozo, but I heard both names being mentioned. Correct. I'm correct in what I said. Yeah, it's been a while since Veterans Day is pretty easy. President's Day, Thanksgiving, the major holidays, you get the day off, and now I think you get Julio Cesar Chavez Day. I know here in California we get Julio Cesar Day and we get MLK. Does everybody still celebrate MLK, or have they combined that? But anyway, yes, Cambozo turned it down. Okay, I think he wants the bigger money fight in Australia, right? Marco Verde is civilist, Matchroom trying to sign. I thought even Floyd had mentioned signing him, man. I guess this guy's the real deal. Being an Olympian, Mexican, a lot of times Mexicans really don't come out of the Olympics. The last ones I remember was like Abner Mares. Are you big? No, I don't think so, bro, because look, man, I'm actually a night owl. I have insomnia. It's Cesar Chavez. Yeah, I know. My bad. I always said Julio Cesar Chavez Day. Salute Cesar Chavez, though, man. I think it is. Is it a federal holiday now? I know people in my family get paid. Cesar Chavez get paid off, and I think it started in the 2010s. And MLK Day, Martin Luther King Day. You staying up then? You know what, man? I put it this way. I set my alarm for Inoue and Neary, because Neary dropped and was competitive. But Donnie, man, that guy's Buster Douglas. He has no chance. Frank who wins? Pacheco, Munguia. I got Munguia, man. Pacheco still looks like he has Bambi legs, bro. I haven't seen a meaningful shot, and Sulecki wasn't in the match, so it's really hard to see. And they don't ruin Pacheco and Munguia throwing them in together. They let them get some other wins, and that'll be a bigger fight down the line. No one cares about Mo. Well, it's a paid holiday, bro. It's another day off. Floyd wants to sign Marco. Yeah, that's what I seen. I think he's just capping. Floyd doesn't really promote. But also Cobain. Oh, Sugar Barroso, that's right. He's fighting over there. That's crazy. Yeah. Marco said he wants to hear more options. I know you guys. Is it Labor Day in USA too? Are you joking, BDA? Yes, this is the Labor Day holiday. BDA, you would know these things. You're into the political scene, but yeah, Labor Day. It seems like all I have to do is Google, right? But I was trying to think, in school what they taught us, and I was like, damn, I don't remember what Labor Day was supposed to signify. People were lighting off fireworks. So I'm like, is it for veterans? Is some kind of military holiday, or is it to celebrate the laborers, the people in America working? Give them a day off. Give the peasants a day off. You don't know, damn. Yeah, man, it's been a while since I've been in school. Usually these holidays differ between Canada and USA. Yeah. But a salute, man. Hopefully, the neighbors are cooking carne asada. People are lighting off fireworks. Like I said, it was a holiday. Americans don't even have Boxing Day. No, we don't. I think we just had Children's Day, National Sons Day. MLK and Juneteenth are national. Wow. Oh, it's Wage Slave Day. Yeah, it's kind of like Labor Day is kind of like a slap in the face, kind of, if you think about it. Anyway, man, come on, man. I'm trying to talk boxing, but so Inoue's fighting Donhe. Crawford, like I said, the argument is between Canelo. And like I said, hit the like, man. I dropped the link. Children's Day is in Mexico. Canada doesn't have it. They don't care about kids. Yeah, and that's odd, because I remember my dad, he used to threaten me when I was being bad that he was going to send me to Mexico because they put you to work at like 8. He used to say, if I was fucking up in school, he would say, I'm going to send you to Mexico with our relatives, and they'll put you to work because they don't go to school. I was like, damn, man, I used to think Mexico was a hellhole, the way my grandparents and dad used to tell me about it. Like the kids were working mines, But then when I went and visited, they lived better than us, bro. The kids could be out till like 9 o'clock in the arcade. They were in the town square. I was like, man, these Mexican kids, they live better than us, man. Their parents are hella chiller and cool. Like my cousin, he was like 14 and he was driving already in Mexico, and he was drinking beer with his homies up the block. And it was just, I was like, damn, I never wanted to leave. And then I came home and it was like military school over here. Anyway, man, back to boxing. So Inoue, is fighting tonight. And there's little, BDA, it's true, man. there's literally no hype. I think last year for the full 10, you did like a whole week of streams, man. Uh, but literally, there's no hype. There's no hype for Nui. Now, the hype for Canelo in September. I think it's starting to ramp up. He's going to battle with the UFC. My pops told me that they were going to pick me up caught in Mexico, caught in the Mexico weekend. Exactly. I think we all faced that same thing, right? Our parents threatened us to pack us to Mexico. Actually, in real news, my grandfather did do that to one of his sons. One of his sons, bless my uncle, but he literally got suspended from school, and my uncle sent him to Mexico. True story. My grandfather got fed up and sent them to Mexico, because I think it was either juvenile hall or he had to go to Mexico. So my grandpa sent him to Mexico, and the motherfucker actually snuck his way back. He came back and showed up on my grandfather's doorstep. And then he behaved and became a decent citizen. So everybody knew my grandfather, he wasn't playing that. He literally would send you back. Frank Bay, what's up, Negro? Yo, what's up, Technique? Holla, 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 holla. Yeah, so salute to all the Americans, salute everybody. Blaze, don't be a Puerto Rican. So, Canelo, and then Canelo, the news is he's going to head to head with the UFC. I think we have our first guest. Steaming. Oh, Port. Salute, man.
Hello.
Welcome. Yes, welcome, Port.
Yep. So
what's going on?
No, this is the prompt of this video. I want to talk about it.
Okay.
So, Canelo to me is not a top 3 fighter, and to be honest, he's not a top 10 fighter in my list. And
who? Say that again.
That Canelo Alvarez is not a top 10 fighter in boxing.
Oh, he's not even a top 10. Wow.
No, nonetheless top 3. So again, people's biggest argument for right now for Canelo Alvarez will be his resume. And what I say to that is, did you have Manny Pacquiao top 5 in 2019? He had the best resume in boxing by far. Canelo Alvarez hasn't had a impressive win arguably since 2019, but I'll give him the Caleb Plant win. But he hasn't had an ATG Hall of Fame win in about 5 years. Now, the Caleb Plant win, I would give him credit for that. I think Caleb Plant's a big guy. He's somewhat skilled. But even then, Caleb Plant win was, 4 years ago? 3 years ago? I mean, it's almost 2025. We're about 6 months away, 5 months away. I'm just saying, it's been a while since Canelo Alvarez has had a legitimate good win. Whereas you got Inoue, Crawford, Usyk, they've all been accumulating wins, and I'm not even naming other guys in the lower weight divisions like Ioka and those guys of that nature. And then you got guys in higher weight classes who I think pass the eye test, because when you're making a pound for pound list, I guess I'm assuming that's what we're doing right now. It's not just the resume. I think it's a lot of different factors played into one, and it's the eye test, the skill set. It's you're a smaller guy fighting in bigger weight classes, you get more points for that. I'm just looking at Canelo Alvarez, and the only thing he does something for me is he's the smaller guy fighting bigger guys, but those bigger guys are mediocre. They really are. So that's what I have to say about Canelo Alvarez not being. Maybe he can be fringe 10, but top 3, no way.
Okay, you don't even have him in the top 10. Well, for starters, this is the debate, so we can get into the debate as long as you're civil. Los, you have a tendency to go off the hinges, but you sound kind of locked in today. You really want to go at it, huh?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. No, but real talk then give us your pound for pound. It can be top 5. I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. The reason I did this because I'm kind of trolling. I hate pound for pound talk. I think it's stupid personally. Like it's all subjective, right? It's just really who your favorite fighter is, right? Like if you have Tank Davis #1 pound for pound, who am I to tell somebody that they're wrong, right? Like it's literally who you like. So, but what do you want to do by who your pound for pound is, or objectively who you have top 5 or top 3? It's up to you. But I'll let you elaborate on what I said to you.
In a way, Usyk. I mean, the popular opinion would be Crawford, but I mean, you have these guys in younger weight classes like Ioka and Kenshiro. I mean, I would choose Crawford just because I feel like him because I rated Marty Moff pretty highly, so I'll go with that's my top 3. But I think you are right when it's all subjective, right? And like everybody has their own criteria, and they have their own ranking systems in their own fucking head. So I agree with that, and yeah, it is trolling, but yeah, to answer your question, that's my top 3, and yeah, that's my top 3. And I think for Inoue, it's more so just the eye test, really. I do know his resume is meh. It's not up there with Usyk yet. I would say you could argue it, but not really. But this is a young guy, 27 years old, I believe, 28 years old. Just like the way he beats his opponents too. I mean, he's so much more faster than them. He has skill. He's very athletic. He has power. He knocks out all the top opponents he fights. To me, it's the way you win. And he's beating guys every round. He knocks them out in devastating fashion. To me, that's something that Canelo's not doing. He's not. And he's not doing it against good opponents either. If he does do it, it's against, low tier opposition. I forgot to mention Bam. I think Bam's not on my top 3, but he's on the cusp. He's around, 5 or 6, around there. He's very close though. And his resume, even then, his resume, I could critique it as well. But at least from the eye test point of view, he's showing me something. Whereas Canelo, he's looking slower by the day. His footwork to me looks a bit, I don't want to say trashy, but it looks he looks uncoordinated at times. His stamina is falling down. All of his fights, he just plods forward and arm punches. And to me, it's just I don't see anything from the eye test, from that perspective. Then you can say, as far as skill goes, I could add B1, better be in there as well. Yeah, that's kind of how I see it. And that's like the people I would put undoubtedly above Canelo. And then you got the more so what's debatable, right? Like Lomachenko and, fighters like that. So,
yeah. I don't really go past 5. Like, honestly, to me, it's just 3 exactly. and everybody else, because, part of my pound list, if I did, to me, is popularity is about, do you put eyes on the sport of boxing? And right now, Canelo, Inoue, and Crawford, who else puts eyes on the sport of boxing for and try to be objective? Like, yeah, we could talk about the B-balls and Lomas, but isn't it really hipster fanboy stuff? Like, does anybody really care outside of those names?
So I guess what you're trying to say is your criteria is more so just promotional and just revenue.
No, I'm saying as far as like, when you want to talk to your friends about boxing, you want to make people fans of boxing.
You mean like a cultural impact on the sport?
That's a big part of it too. Yeah, I think
it is.
Okay, I could have Tank in pound for pound because he's doing phenomenal, right? Like, I'm a Tank hater. I'm not gonna lie. I think the brothers avoid each other, but as far as like what he does in the sport, brings eyes, has people talking, has exciting fights, like what you said with the Inoue, I think he should be talked about in pound for pound because he has an impact on the sport. Now, when you talk about guys like Bivol, Loma did for a little bit, but like even Tio's faded. So I think I have Canelo and Crawford and Inoue because that's who people talk about. Nobody really talks about the other guy.
Like the whole promotional aspect and your cultural impact, I think more so it's a testament to how good they can promote these fighters. And that's what I have to say about Tank. I feel like Tank hasn't earned it. I think Canelo earned it. Like Canelo earned his status. We can say he's made a cultural impact and he's earned it. We know why he did, but I'm just saying it's been about 5 or 6 years since I've seen him in close fights. I really have. I mean, that's why I brought up the Pacquiao comparison. In 2019, was Pacquiao a top 3, top 5 fighter? Just boxing, that's it. Just boxing. He was an icon, but that was more so what he did several years prior. That's kind of what I see from Canelo Alvarez right now. Prime Canelo was amazing, right? That guy was definitely a top 3, top 5 fighter, no doubt. But right now, to me personally, what I see from him, he's just deteriorating. He's slower. His skill set was not the same. He relies less on defense. He's aged so quickly. Him going up and down, all the steroids he's been using, it's just aged his body. And to me, it's super, like, it's obvious, it's there. So that's kind of how I see Canelo Alvarez right now, where he's the guy that's just deteriorating. And I just think the only argument he has is his resume, and it's just getting weaker and weaker because over time, we're not going to respect it no more. I mean, who's he going to fight after Belonga? Skull? Pacheco. Meanwhile, Inoue might fight somebody else that's, he might move up to 126 and fight Figueroa. Usyk, will beat Fury again. He might, defend his title against somebody, an elite opponent. Crawford might, go up, become undisputed again at 154. I doubt it, but he might, right? So I'm just saying, well, all these other guys are doing stuff. Bam's gonna start doing more things. Canelo, just to me, his future just seems stagnant. It's just, you're doing nothing for me aside from just accolades. And I think once you add context to those accolades, it doesn't look that impressive. It is not. So I think the days of Canelo Alvarez being a top fighter, they're gone. And there's a reason why he's avoiding guys like Benavidez. There's a reason why, and he knows it. His skills are.
That's fair. I mean, there's nothing that could be really argued. I mean, that's your personal opinion. I mean, I understand. I mean, look, man, I've heard you before. We talk boxing. I mean, you probably heard all the talk about Canelo Alvarez, but you really are gonna sit here and tell me you don't think he's one of the best. And I'm just gonna make a couple points about that. Like, Inoue's fighting Donhi. Like, you cannot tell me that is a highly rated opponent. Like, that's the best he could be facing at this point.
I mean, yeah, but he fought Stephen Fulton 2 fights ago, and he fought Luis Neri, who I think Luis Neri is pretty good. I know it's easy to disagree with that because he's had some losses, but off the eye test, I think Luis Neri's he's a solid fighter going off skill. But yeah, I mean, Inoue had a great win, like basically a year ago. 13 months ago, I would say. Yeah, at least it's been fucking 3 years since Canelo Alvarez has had a good win. That's Caleb Plant. 3 years. What has he done since? Nothing. Ryder. Munguia almost got stopped by a 37-year-old Derevyanchenko. Like, really, that's kind of my argument here.
Yeah, but Mars, you're getting killed in the chat, man. But Mars Boxeo says Donhi and Neri are not more accomplished than Charlo and GG. What? Doesn't he make a good point?
Can you repeat that? Or I'll just the comment. Donhi.
Okay. Donhi and Neri are not more accomplished than Charlo and GG, and Zaki even says he's a big time Canelo hater. Wait. Just let's talk, man. Let's have a conversation.
Okay. All right.
Neri was sea level at the time. So that's basically back to back. Nobody's agreeing with your take. I mean, everybody's saying that Inoue's. Look, I think he's great, and I'm okay with him fighting these average guys because he cleaned out the division. But do you agree with Mars and Zaki that these are not the best guys that Inoue's facing?
Again, so I don't think they listen to me. Canelo Alvarez had a great resume in the 2010s. That's where he got most of his biggest wins. It's been several years since then. When are we going to stop giving Canelo Alvarez credit for the wins he had 7, 6, 8 years ago? And that's, again, I keep up bringing up the Pacquiao comparison. Pacquiao had all these great wins. Nobody had him a fucking pound-for-pound fighter in 2020, 2021. It's been long, during that time, even he beat Keith Thurman, but I'm just, it's the best example I could use where you can't keep on going to the past to justify Canelo being top 2, top 3 when it's like this version of Canelo right now we see is not the same Canelo we saw in 2018, 2019. So it's a completely different fighter, and we can all agree on that. He's slower, he's deteriorating. So I don't know how good Canelo Alvarez is right now. I don't know. It's not the same Canelo that used to be there 5 years ago. So to me, it's not a genuine. It's not fair. Whereas guys like Inoue and Crawford and Usyk, they're beating top guys recently. Whereas Canelo Alvarez is living off the past, what he did years ago. To me, it's not fair at all. I mean, you can't be doing that. There's gonna come a point where you have to draw the line and say, hey, dude, it's been fucking several years since you've had a good win. I'm not gonna keep on giving you credit. I'm not, and that's what we used to say to Crawford. I remember, we used to say to Crawford until he beat Spence. We used to say Crawford hasn't done shit recently. We can't keep on putting him at the top. And at the time, I agreed, but then eventually he, beat Spence, and right now he's in Martimov, and so okay, so he moved back up, and that's kind of how I see Canelo right now. I just do, and to go back to Luis Neri, that's why I said it's easy to fucking disagree, because on paper, Luis Neri never did anything special, but if you have an eye for boxing, if you know boxing, Luis Neri is more skilled than anybody Canelo Alvarez has beat the past 3 to 4 years. He is.
Come on.
He is. Yeah,
Triple G, Jamel Charlo are arguably better than Luis Neri, more accomplished.
Golovkin was 40 years old when he fought Canelo.
Well,
Jermell,
Inouye's best win is a 40-year-old on there. That's what I'm saying, man. You can all. That's the thing you're
no,
missing, Los. I think. Wait, let
no.
me talk, man. Like you like to talk. This
Okay,
is a
fine, go. Yeah.
conversation. It has to go
Okay, yeah,
both
yeah.
ways.
I'll go.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Now the things you are saying are are accurate. I don't think you're saying anything that other people haven't said before. But what I'm doing is saying that Inouye's not doing anything different, and even people in the chat are agreeing. Even people that don't like Canelo Alvarez, they're looking at Inoue and saying, "Okay, you got these wins, but your last couple of opponents have been B minus guys, and this guy Donaghy is C. So if you hold Inoue number one, but you don't even rate Canelo, you're not really being fair because Canelo is beating arguably tougher guys because he's a smaller guy at a higher weight. So you kind of have to factor that in.
No, you do have to factor that in, and I agree with that. You are fighting bigger guys, but I'm like, they also have to be good themselves. It can't be. I'm not gonna give you credit for fighting bigger guys, but they're mediocre. I'm just not. Whereas in a way, I saw him fight Fulton. Fulton was bigger, and Fulton to me, at the time when Inoue beat Fulton, on the general consensus was Fulton was a fringe top 10 pound for pound fighter. On most lists, I saw Fulton around 8, 9, 10, and personally, I thought Fulton is better than anybody Canelo Alvarez has beat since Kovalev, I would say. I think Fulton's better than fucking Caleb Plant. But that's subjective. I can't prove it through the eye test because everybody nowadays wants objectivity, and that is through a stat. It's through a resume, it's something you put your finger on. So it's easy to fucking disagree. But if you're an honest person, you're not a fanboy, you can't fucking tell me Caleb Plant's a better fucking boxer than Stephen Fulton is, or none, or even fucking anybody Canelo Alvarez has beaten recently, like a pulling up Jermell from 2 weight classes. In that context, he's better than fucking Luis Nery. I don't even know if Jermell Charlo is better than Luis Nery skillfully. The guy fucking lost to Tony Harrison. The guy gets outboxed every fucking fight. I thought he lost to Castano.
Jermell was undisputed in his weight class. And I know what people are gonna say. They say, well, he was a smaller guy. Yeah, but they were in the same division at one time, and they had always called out Canelo because they were in or around his weight division. And Canelo's a smaller guy. He started his fights at 140. That's the thing people miss about Canelo Alvarez has done exactly what Inouye's done, and he's still doing it at a high level. I think you missed that part. Like Munguia and Triple G, even if he's old, they're not scrubs, dude. Like you make them seem like they're bottom of the tier fighters. You make it seem like they're all these Donaghy fighters. Like Inouye's literally fighting a Buster Douglas, dude, 30-1 fighter.
I love Golovkin. I think Golovkin's a great fighter. I think he's in Hall of Famer. But it was a 40-year-old Golovkin in 2022. It's 40 years old. Like he was obviously deteriorating, right? But I want to get to a different point you made about. Listen, Jermell Charlo, he was a weight bully his entire career at 154. He finally moved up and fought guys his size, and look what happened. He lost twice. Tony Harrison is a C-level fighter. He lost to Tony Harrison. Castano, listen, I think Castano's good. He's kind of basic, nothing special about him, and I thought he beat Jermell in the first fight. And yeah, that's why I said Canelo Alvarez's biggest claim right now in my book is he's the smaller guy beating bigger guys. That to me is pound for pound. It's showing that your skill set exceeds size disadvantages, and it's greater than being a smaller guy. That's how good you are. So I give him credit for that, but I'm just saying, but at least beat a good big guy once in a while. I mean, dude, Munguia again almost got knocked out by fucking Derevyanchenko, 37-30 Derevyanchenko. I thought, didn't he lose to Chris Hogan not years ago? I mean, the guy Munguia, I mean, who is Munguia? He never had a good win, to be honest. His biggest claim to fame is beating Saddam Ali, and then that's about it. I mean, Gabe Rosado, I mean, really, come on, 37-year-old Derevyanchenko almost stopping you, and I'm gonna give Canelo Alvarez credit for that. Where I got Inoue, he recently, and also you're not bringing up the fashion that Inoue's beating these guys. He's beating these guys like they're not even in the same sport. He's showing these guys that there's levels to this, and their top opposition. Like I said, the general consensus was Fulton was a top 10 pound-for-pound fighter when Inoue beat him. Canelo Alvarez hasn't done that. He hasn't been a top 10 pound-for-pound fighter at the time, and I don't know how many years. I think it's been since 2019, 2018. It's been a very long time.
You know what? If I go by the criteria and logic that you're using, I could basically put Tank Davis number one. because
can't.
you could say, well, let me finish, man. Los, you gotta have a conversation, dude. You talk,
go.
I talk. That's the
My
back and
bad.
forth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, go.
Tank Davis, you could say a lot of people argue, oh, he beat Barrios, who was a champion. And look at he just became a champion 147. Oh, look, he beat Hector Garcia. He was a champion. I mean, you could do that. You can do that with everybody, but we know Tank in his own division, he never cleaned out the division. He never unified. He's not. I think he got an email belt, and that's why he can't crack top 5 pound for pound, right? So when you look at Canelo Alvarez, he's fought accomplished guys. That's what I'm saying. Like, look, man, there's not 5 David Benavidez that he could fight back to back to back. And just like Inoue, I don't care that he's fighting Don because he cleaned out his division. So, but he's fighting decent guys. Like Neri's a decent fighter. Like I'm giving you those points, but you don't want to give those points to Canelo Alvarez. You see what I'm saying?
No, because I mean, you have to give me the points. Luis Neri is skilled. If you know boxing, which I'm assuming you do, and I'm assuming people do, Luis Neri is levels. Technically, he's levels above Munguia. He's levels above John Ryder. He's and to the other point about Javon.
No way, dude. Neri went life and death with Havanesian, our Armenian that he just fought recently, right? Picasso just beat his ass. And who is Picasso? Did you watch the Picasso fight? You know that guy?
Yeah, I've heard of him. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Okay, Alan Picasso. He just beat Havanesian, who Luis Neri went life and death with.
Yeah, that's a competitive division down there. There's a lot of skilled fighters down there. Was at 168. I mean, you can argue 168 is the weakest division in boxing. I've been saying that for years. It is the weakest division in boxing. It has been ever since. I mean, it was before Canelo Alvarez even become undisputed at that weight division. That's why he decided to go to 168 because he knew at the time it was like one of the weaker divisions in boxing, and it was wide open to become undisputed. But that's a different conversation. And but you brought up Gervonta Tank Davis, and I was going to say, well, Gervonta is nowhere near, and he's nowhere near my top 10 list at all. And look, what Canelo has over Tank is at least he has a legacy. At least he has a history. That's what fools the boxing public, right? Is that Canelo Alvarez does have a good resume, but again, I'm telling you my argument. It keeps on going over your head. We have to draw a line. Like, dude, Canelo can't keep on living from these wins in 2019, 2018, 2017. That's not the same Canelo Alvarez. The Canelo Alvarez right now is nowhere near as good as the 2018 Canelo. So the Canelo Alvarez right now, I'm looking at it. It's been 3 years since he's had a good win. To me, the eye test to me, he's deteriorating. I can't put him above Inoue and Usyk right now. They're doing things that he's not doing, and they're beating top guys by the eye test. They look good to me. They still look athletic. They have a skill set right now. Canelo, I mean, he's getting slower by the day. He doesn't use head movement no more, which is what he's known for. His stamina is shit. He's always off balance after hooks. His volume is low. Yeah, to me, I thought Munguia won 5 rounds. Again, that's me personally. I thought you could have gave Munguia 6, to be honest. Again, and I bring up the fashion. You beat these guys. Inoue is beating these guys. It's not even close. Yeah, he got dropped by Neri. It was a flash knockdown. Fine. What did he do after that? After that, he proceeded to give Neri a life-altering beating. He showed him that we're not even in the same sport. Canelo, and he's doing this against good competition. Canelo's not doing that against even mediocre competition. You can't even stop Ryder, for crying out loud. I mean, again, that's my argument. It's people in the comments are going to cope. A lot of Canelo fans, and listen, you could bring them up all you want. I don't really care. I think I've stated what I want to state, and I would, let you have a rebuttal, and then I'll probably get going after because I have to get going. But I mean, got anything else to say? And then I'll kind of rebuttal that, and then
Got anything else to say? No, I let you talk because I think you're not giving Canelo any points, and I brought up the fact that you could say the same thing about Tank Davis and his opponents. They give Tank Davis points
though. Like Tank's not even my top 10. Tank's not nowhere near my top 10. I don't know.
That's not. You're missing the point, though. What I'm saying is the point. What you're arguing, how you're not knocking Canelo Alvarez's opponent. That's the same thing. How they give credit to Tank Davis' opponents. Like you don't want to give him credit for Munguia, for Triple G. Like this is what they say. I already know what you're gonna say before you say, oh, well, Triple G was old. Well, that's Inoue's best win is an old Nonito Donaire. So how do you correlate that? Yes,
is it? I mean,
yes,
Fulton
his best win is Nonito. No, if you just go by the name, you say no. Oh, he's a legend, right? Like when they say Tank Davis, when he gets credit for beating like Jose Pedraza. Oh, he's an ex-champion. Like that's his best win. That's Tank Davis's best win, arguably, is Jose Pedraza. But in Inouye's best win, he beat a Hall of Famer. That's his best win. You can't. But he was 40 years old. So how do you rectify that when you knock Canelo
because
Alvarez for his win against Triple G?
Because there's a lot of context that goes into that. And again, I can look at the Golovkin fight when he fought Canelo. Golovkin didn't even look like he wanted to be there, to be honest. He went for a paycheck. He was 40. When Inoue beat Donaire, he was just 36 or 37. Donaire, prior to that Inoue fight, had some, he was in some decent fights. He was, he had some good wins. He had momentum. And when I see from, I guess, by the eye test, again, you want to go by paper all the time, by the eye test, Donaire, when he fought Inoue in the first fight, looked way better to me than Golovkin did in the third Canelo fight. He just did. And they weren't even the same age. I mean, there was a 3-year difference, sure, 4-year difference, fine. But it's, it's just, to me, it's just, that's Inoue's best win, sure. But even then, that's why I'm not bringing up the Donaire Inoue match, because it happened a long time ago. I'm going off recent, because recent does matter. And he's beating Fulton. He's beating Neri. He's beating good guys recently. Canelo's not doing that. He's not. And then that's just the resume. Like I said, it's not just a resume, too. It's a plethora of things all factored into one. And that's just resume. There's the eye test. There's youth. It's how you look in the ring. It's speed. It's athletic ability. It's power. Inoue has all that over Canelo. He does. And resume, it's debatable, but you can't keep on giving Canelo credit for his past resume. You want to bring up Jermell. I would agree that Jermell was probably Canelo's best win since the Caleb Plant win. I guess, but even then, 2-weight divisions coming up. A guy that gets outboxed by C-level fighters. I was never a big guy on Jermell. I know that's becomes a subjective opinion, and I know if you look at it objectively, he was undisputed and all that. But again, personally, I'm not easily bought off by accolades, because they're fake. At the end of the day, they are fake to an extent. I guess the machine imposes this idea of belts on you by corruption. A lot of these guys get these belts and accolades all the time by corruption. So again, I don't put too much emphasis on that. It's more so geared towards what I see subjectively, what I see in the fucking ring. And that is that the dude is fighting better opposition. I rate Luis Neri and Fulton more skilled than fucking Jermell Charlo. Jermell was a fucking weight bully at 154, beating up smaller guys. That's how he got by. He finally fights guys his size. Look what fucking happens. Getting outboxed by fucking Tony Harrison. I mean, are we kidding here? I mean, I don't know. I mean, again, that's what happens.
No, I hear what you're saying. I just don't I don't buy it. Like, I get it. I think you're able to what you're able to do is take a lot of opinions mixed with little facts and make a good narrative. I'll give you that. I mean, it's a good narrative. But this is where you're weak at. No, I'm telling you where your argument is weak at. Is that if you get Canelo any points, you'd probably have a stronger argument. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. Yes, because you're not giving him any credit whatsoever. And you're just missing the fact that he cleaned out his division, that the opponents that he's facing is very similar to Crawford and Inouye's opponents.
No, I don't.
Look, Crawford's best win is a drunk pirate, Earl Spence. Canelo's best win is Triple G. Like when Crawford still gets credit for what he did 10 years ago being undisputed. So you say, well, what Canelo did was a long time ago. Look, Crawford didn't look fantastic against his last opponent. And Inoue went 12 rounds with Paul Butler. So a lot of the points that you want to give credit to your guy, you don't give any credit towards Canelo Alvarez.
You could say that, and I did. I said he's fighting bigger guys, but then I go off the eye test, and to me, I think Marty Mov skillfully is more skilled than anybody Canelo Alvarez has fucking fought. Way more skilled at the past 2 years. He really is. And yeah, I mean, you can say the Spence fight too, and you want to compare Spence, when Crawford fought Spence compared to when Canelo fought Golovkin in the third time. I think it was more impressive on Crawford's end. It really was. Spence, I know he had the car crash and all that, but he was still young. He was still in his prime. Golovkin, he moved up. It was his first time in 168. Canelo has been on 168 for the past 3 years. Golovkin didn't even try. He didn't even want to be there. At least Spence was walking through Crawford shots. He was, right? And like I said, my criteria is only resume based, about 30% of it. 30% of it is only resume based. It's also the eye test and all that. And to me, I don't think you can argue that Canelo is more skilled or just a better boxer than Crawford is. You just can't. Crawford's more versatile. He could do more things in the ring. I think the only thing you can give Canelo is power. That's about it.
Well, that's where I challenge your theory, your eye test, because what you're doing using eye test is not that tangible. It's more like theory. You're using kind of your perception or how you watch a fight and who you think is more skilled. But the reason Canelo will always get more points than Crawford in that area is because he's always fighting way bigger guys. Crawford's always had the physical size advantage, just like Devin Haney has always had the physical size advantage. And when Crawford finally fought someone his size, his equal, even though he still had the dimensions that were bigger than Madrimov, he was challenged and he didn't want anymore. Salute, puro sud. So that's the reason Canelo and Inoue is right behind him, because Inoue's, even though he's moving up, you could tell he's still probably more athletic than the guys that he's beating, right? More physically gifted. But Canelo is not more physically gifted than the guys he's facing as far as size and dimension. So Crawford, he's always going to be behind Canelo and Inoue because he's always, he claims he can go 168 and he started at 135. What does that tell me? Oh, he's been pretty much a bully his entire career.
Yeah, but I can use that argument with Canelo. Canelo was at 154. He said he can move up the cruiserweight. Doesn't that prove, that analogy prove, your take on Canelo as well? I mean, I guess, but we can use that argument for Canelo as well. And to me, look, it's not black and white. I think if you see a trend where you have to give the smaller guy credit for beating bigger guys, because that's literally the definition of pound for pound, it is. But if we keep on going on that trend, I think a lot of context gets lost in that, and we can't just be a robot and to see a trend and keep on chasing without context. And I'm just saying, so Canelo beating bigger guys, bigger mediocre guys, yeah, that's impressive. But what about you're showing me so much skill against guys your own size, where I'm like, you know what, that might outweigh what Canelo's doing against bigger mediocre guys. Again, beating guys does matter. But does it really matter when they're mediocre and then you got this other guy just beating guys his size, but he's beating them where they don't even fucking belong in the same ballpark?
Well, and I'm going to rebuttal that but that's what boxing's always been about. The reason these guys, Leonard, Duran, even Mayweather to an extent, is moving up in weight. Tommy Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, they all went up to like 168. I think Sugar Ray Leonard went up to 175 at one time. So your argument kind of falls flat when you talk about, just because it's like you want to say eye test. So Canelo doesn't get credit because he's fighting bigger, sloppier guys. Is kind of what I'm gathering.
So let me ask you this: who do you have higher in your own list? Right? I know you see your list is relatively small, but let's just put these two fighters in. Who's higher on your list? Gervonta Tank Davis, or I don't know if you watch Ioka much, so I won't use him. Gervonta Tank Davis or Inoue. Who's higher on your list, right?
Oh, Inoue. Inoue's up there. That's why I put him. He's arguably number one pound for pound.
So if Inoue's higher than Tank, all your arguments using for Canelo right now, I can use them for Tank as why Tank should be above Inoue. He's fighting bigger guys. He beat a bigger Ryan Garcia. He beat a bigger Mario Barros. He beat a bigger Rolly Romero. He's beating bigger guys than him, right? Whereas Inoue, he's only done that about once, and that was against Fulton. It's like, you know what I'm saying? I could use your own argument.
I hear what you're saying.
But you're not going to agree on that. And why is that? Well, because the big guys Tank's fighting aren't that fucking good.
No, I'm going by what you don't like to use, by the accomplishments. In a way, if he was just going up and beating big guys that had no accolades, then it's going to look weak. But he's going up and fighting the champions. That's what you don't like to give. You don't like to give accolades. You said in your own argument you don't like to give credit for accolades. No, so that's why I knew he gets it.
No, I do like to give credit for accolades when they're fair. Sometimes they're not always fair. For example, when Rolly beat fucking that Venezuelan guy, there's no way he deserved that fucking belt. When Jermell got robbed by Castillo in the first fight, there's no way he deserved to be undisputed. I thought fucking wait, that was a draw, right? Never mind. But still, I thought Castillo deserved to be undisputed that fight. I'm just saying accolades are cool and all, but sometimes you can't take every accolade at face value and act like it's the most genuine fucking thing just because it's objective, quote unquote. It's more so corruption exists, and that's why I don't pay much attention to accolades all the time, and I look at context rather than just taking it for at face value. But I was gonna say back to the analogy I used with Tank. So listen, if I can't put Inoue above Canelo because the whole argument using for Canelo, then you must agree with that same logic. You have to put Tank over Inoue because all the arguments using for Canelo right now, I can use them for Tank as why Tank's above Inoue. I can. He's beating bigger guys. He's fought the guys he's beat are bigger than him, more so than how big the opponents were compared to Inoue.
You're saying Tank's opponents are way bigger than him, than Inoue's opponents, than Inoue's opponents
are bigger than Inoue, yeah.
Okay,
so
that's fair. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
So again, so look.
But it's the accolades. That's the difference. It's the accolades. I explained that to you, Los.
No,
and just with Canelo Alvarez has the accolades fighting bigger guys.
I guess, yeah, but the accolades to me, there's a point where the accolades don't matter, to be honest. They just don't.
Like Tank goes up and he fights Barrios, right? That's a bigger guy, but he has a weight clause on him. And Barrios was like an interim champion. I don't think he was the full champion. Now Tank went up and fought Josh Taylor, then Tank would arguably be number one pound for pound. Had Tank Davis did with Teofimo, and I was going to mention that you should, by going by eye test and what you see, Teofimo should arguably be number one, because you can tell when Teofimo was in the ring with Josh Taylor, Jermaine Ortiz, he was way smaller. You can tell Teo is a very small guy, but he's absolutely way more skilled than, you would say he's way more skilled than probably Canelo and Inoue. If we're just going by eye test.
So you brought up how Tank needs to beat, I guess, well, Taylor's not that good anymore, but I'm assuming you meant Taylor when he was good. Tank needs to beat Taylor and needs to beat Teo, and then he could be on Canelo's level.
No, I'm going by eye test. When you watch the Teofimo Lopez versus Josh Taylor fight, and you could see Teo's and athleticism versus a way bigger guy, because everybody knew Josh Taylor was like a massive 140, 100. He struggled to make 140. And when he fought Jermaine Ortiz, that was a big motherfucker. Even Loma versus Haney, you could see how much bigger Haney. He outweighed Loma by 20 pounds. So Loma and Teo should arguably be number one pound for pound when you use your metrics.
Honestly, I have Loma quite high on my list. He's not top 5, but he's around top 6, top 7. So I give Loma credit because he passes a lot of different metrics I use. So I give him credit. Teo here and there, to me, top 10, I would say maybe fringe 10. But I'm not solely going off of just, I'm using your own argument. To me personally, you beating bigger guys, to me, that's cool, but it's not doing much for me when I add context to it. And like I said, Canelo Alvarez, he's beating bigger guys, but they're mediocre. So that, again, I'm using your argument. Me personally, I don't put too much emphasis on beating bigger opponents unless they're good big opponents. Whereas you're putting emphasis on it, even if they're just because they're big, they could be mediocre. But if you're beating bigger guys, that's okay because they're bigger. And I just showed you the example of Gervonta Tank Davis. He does that, and he's not above Inoue in your list. And you're bringing up accolades, which are cool, but you have to realize that the weight divisions are weaker than others. That's a real thing in boxing. So that, and just because Canelo Alvarez is he's not even beating champions, to be honest. He's just defending his belts. I mean, he's not, which is cool. But you can't tell me that Ryder, for example, and Munguia, I guess you can say he's better than Barrios, and I wouldn't say he's better than Ryan, to be honest. But you can make that argument. But again, I think they're on the same level, to be honest. You're beating bigger guys, but they're mediocre. And they brought up the argument about stipulations, weight stipulations, rehydration clause, etc. Canelo Alvarez has a history of doing that. He does. I think Tank, I'll agree with you. Tank does it more than Canelo does, but they both have a history of slapping rehydration clauses on bigger opponents. They both have that history. So again, back to the point, the same logic you use to put Canelo over Inoue, I can use the same logic for you to put Tank over Inoue, and you have to agree the same logic.
The logic I'm using is exactly. Well, you're using eye test. It's not even based on logic.
No.
Yours is based on perception.
No. I'm using your logic. Not mine. Because off my logic.
No, I gave you objectivity as far as the accolades. Pound for pound. When you're rating pound for pound, you're taking in accolades, level of opponent, right? And I know you don't even like to use resume. So how can I argue with someone who just wants to go purely on perception?
I like using
Huh?
resumes, but I like using
You
resumes.
just told
but
me you don't. You
no.
said it's all fake. It's all corruption.
So can I talk? I said I like using resumes, but I add context to it. I said taking accolades at face value for what they are, and assuming accolades in this situation are the same exact as in the other situation. They don't vary depending on level of difficulty. To me, that's what I brought in. That's when you add context to it. And like for example, becoming undisputed. Like who had the toughest run to undisputed? Like Usyk probably, right? Both times. And then you have Crawford also become undisputed. Are we gonna act like both of them? And obviously, I'm talking about Crawford at 140. Are we gonna act like just because they both became undisputed, that accolade of undisputed holds the same level of value to both fighters when the level of difficulty was different? And why is that? Oh, because we had a context to it, and we realized that hey, he's grabbing belts, but they're weak. I mean, he's not beating good guys for them. So that's when you add I never said resumes and accolades don't matter. I said I don't take them at face value, add more context to it, and that's why I brought up Canelo Alvarez. He's accumulating accolades, but can we agree that 168 is like arguably, and I don't even think it's an argument, but I'll be open-minded and maybe I'll say that, but it's the weakest division in boxing right now. 168, maybe cruiserweight, but 168, it's the weakest division in boxing. So you accumulating accolades at 168 to me doesn't really do anything for me, to be honest. It's not. It's he's in a fight for longer. Really? I mean, it's just not that impressive.
I mean, he cleaned out the division. What more do you want from a person?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with the Inoue right now. He cleaned out the division.
Well,
look what Bud Crawford is doing. Los, come on, man. You gotta let people talk, man. You say what you say. You get a minute, and then I get a minute.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Canelo cleaned out his division. Same thing in Inoue. He's having problems because he cleaned out the division, and there's a lack of opponents. There's MJ, but he already lost. He has to get a win back. Canelo's facing the same thing. You got Pacheco and Billy, but they don't really have names. Berlanga had the name. Now is Berlanga a top opponent? No. But it's like you said what Canelo Alvarez did 10 years ago. No, he cleaned it out in the pandemic era, and boxing is barely getting back, but he cleaned out the division. You agree or disagree? Same thing with Inoue. He cleaned out the division, so there's going to be a lack of opponents.
Yes, you can clean out the division. That's fine, but I'm just saying that the degree of difficulty in you clean out the division does matter. And he saw with 168. I mean, Caleb Smith, I thought he lost to John Ryder, right, in 2018, 2019. I don't know, it was 2019. I thought he lost to John Ryder. A lot of people thought it was a robbery. It was a big deal out in the UK. Billy Joe Sanders, really. I mean, come on, that guy again. Buy. I guess you want to go buy accolades. You want to get face value. Sure, clean out a division. In reality, he didn't, because he didn't fight Benavidez. He just cleaned out whoever was the champs. But Ben lost that belt on his own will. He was a cocaine, which okay, fine. But I'm just saying, Canelo didn't really clean out the division. He just accumulated all the belts, and Caleb Smith, really? I mean, come on, he got beat by John Ryder a year ago, a year prior to that. John fucking Ryder. Billy Joe Sanders was never that really impressive to me. You could argue if Canelo Alvarez stayed at 160 at the time, he decided to go the undisputed route at 160 and decided to face Derevyanchenko and Jamal, that would have been a lot tougher than beating Caleb Plant and Derevyanchenko and Billy Joe Sanders. It would have been, to be honest. I would agree on that. I mean, Caleb Plant's never done anything, to be honest. So to me personally, they don't really pass the eye test. I mean, Caleb Plant, I don't think he has.
I mean, but he was also he was young and undefeated. I mean, when people look at who you beat, they look at how you beat young undefeated fighters also.
But Inoue's doing. And
that's what I'm saying. But you don't give Canelo any. Look, man, it comes down to this. You don't give Canelo Alvarez any credit for what Inoue's doing about at the same rate or
it's not the same
equal.
Rate.
Okay. Well, rate. Yeah, I know you're saying, well, he obliterates them, and Canelo obliterated Caleb Plant. He obliterated Billy Joe Saunders.
Oh, dude, you can't compare. Saunders, fine. You can't compare the Fulton fight to the Caleb Plant fight. No, dude. When you watch Fulton, in a way, it looked like they weren't even in the same ring. Like they weren't even supposed to belong in the same sport together. That's how it looked. Where Caleb Plant, I thought Caleb won 4 rounds until he got stopped. Again, how you beat them matters. In a way, it's showing you that he has skill. That's like it's showing fans right now that this guy is a generational talent, and he's in his prime now. He's at its peak.
But he's fine. Don't he, Los? Like, when are you gonna get off his dick?
You're gonna dude, you're gonna have fucking mismatches here and there. Canelo Alvarez.
Okay, so then that's what Canelo Alvarez does too. Like you don't want.
No,
That's what I'm saying,
but
man.
you're missing it though. You're missing the point, and the point is that I can give Canelo credit for what he did in 2017, 2018. Canelo Alvarez has a better resume in a way, but that resume, all those best wins were 8-7 years ago. That's why I keep on bringing up Manny Pacquiao. If you want to go off resumes all the time, Manny Pacquiao should have been the best boxer in the world in 2020 and 2021 because at the time he had the best resume. But why didn't we have Pacquiao as a top fighter? Oh, because he fucking deteriorated. He was old. We knew he wasn't that good anymore because by the eye test he was slower and his reflexes weren't that good. That's what I see from Canelo Alvarez right now, dude. Like the guy hasn't had a genuine win in 3 years. Yeah, he has good resume, but his resume, the reason why it's good, he hasn't had a good fucking ATG win in fucking 6-7 years. What I see recently is a guy fighting fucking guys that don't belong in the ring with him, and to me he's fucking getting slower and deteriorating. And to me, again, y'all don't see it because it's not official. He hasn't lost yet, but to me, I like to put my finger on it before it happens. And to me, I think Canelo's days are numbered. I think he's gonna lose soon. I think he not this fight, but you'll be surprised. I think he's losing the skull. Never fucking know. I mean, Roy Jones lost unexpectedly, right, late in his career because I see a lot of similarities from Roy and Canelo. They're both guys that relied a lot on their reflexes, just being more athletic than you. And as they aged, they didn't really have that much built-in fundamentals, right? And as they lost that athletic ability, they were more susceptible to fucking open shots because the reflexes aren't there no more. They had no built-in defense, right? Like good technique. It was more so just reflexes, and that shit goes away once you enter your mid-30s, right? And I'm just saying, don't be surprised if Canelo Alvarez gets fucking knocked out soon by fucking nobody. I don't think it could be against Berlanga, but it might be in a year or so. And I feel like Canelo Alvarez right now is at that point. You're just not seeing it. Y'all aren't seeing it because he's fighting weak competition.
Well, I already know what you think. You think I'm a Canelo fanboy and this is a Canelo fanboy channel and everybody in the chat sucks his dick, right? That's like, I know your true feelings, Los. Isn't that what you feel? You can say it. I'm not going to hate on you.
What, that y'all, you
accused me that before. You say I'm a Canelo fanboy and it's a Canelo fanboy channel.
Y'all are Canelo fans. It's obvious. Yeah, it's obvious.
And we suck his dick and things like that.
Yeah.
Okay. I know that's how you really feel, but my argument is that he's still doing it at a high level. He's always the smaller fighter, but I kind of wanted to switch gears. In my opinion, pound for pound is really about what it was really supposed to be, was if they were equal weight, who would beat who. So let's switch gears. Can you do that?
Yeah, but to me, it seems more so a hypothetical, which y'all have a problem with subjectivity, it seems like.
Excuse me?
Y'all have an issue with subjectivity.
Don't talk shit now. Nah.
Well, I want to have I'm saying not you, but everybody in the chat. Everybody has a issue when we go into subjective opinions because it's opinionated.
Well, you don't even use subjective criteria, Los. You use your eye test, which is purely
because
hypothetical.
Because you can't. There is no criteria for subjective opinions because criteria is mostly, I guess. How do you come to a conclusion that you're?
Well, you can have. Well, you can have. You can elaborate and say this is the metric or that I use to come to this, opinion.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm gonna switch gears. I'm gonna. Okay. Let's get past the whole number one. You have your opinion. I have my opinion. But really, the whole idea of pound for pound was that if they were equal weights, right? Who would beat who? So if we had a tournament between Crawford, Usyk, Inoue, and Canelo, who would win?
If they're all the equal weight, I would have to say either Crawford or Inoue. I would say that would be at top. I would probably edge it to Inoue, just because I'm seeing Inoue right now what he's doing with the guys his own size. And he's just he's obliterating them. They're not even fucking in the same tier as him. I mean, he's just knocking them out. He has so much more power. He's faster than them. He's more skilled than them, I'll say, in a way. But yeah, I mean, what do you think? I mean,
so you think Inoue beats Crawford and Canelo Alvarez and Alexander Usyk?
Yeah. That's to me. That's why he's number one, along with other things, obviously. But yeah, to put it simple, yeah.
Okay, so who wins between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford? If they're the same weight, let's not say that Crawford goes up to 168. If Canelo faced Terrence Crawford, who would win?
Yeah, well, Crawford. Well, I think he would win.
You based on what? There's just the most skills.
I mean, that's important. I mean, the skills is the most important thing about boxing. I mean, I know power is real, and I think Canelo has that power advantage. He has the chin advantage, but they're both the same
Yeah.
size. Yeah, I think Crawford wins. And I mean, really, I mean, I think that it's a lie that they sold to y'all, and it's that Canelo Alvarez is leagues above people his own size because he's beating big guys, but they're mediocre. Tell me right now, Canelo Alvarez's toughest fights were against guys his own size: Cotto, Golovkin, Mayweather, Erislandy Lara, I guess Trout, but even then I thought he beat Trout, but it was a tough fight. So like Canelo, I mean, people are acting like Canelo's above fighting people his own size. He's too good to fight people his own size because, he beats them all, and that's why he's fighting big guys. That's not the fucking case. Like his toughest fights have came from guys his own size. So me saying Crawford is the same size as Canelo, I think Crawford beats him, is not a crazy statement because, I mean, Cotto at 36 years old, when he had a close fight with Canelo Alvarez, Crawford was better than Cotto at that stage in their careers. I can say the same thing for, I don't want to say for Golovkin, but I can say the same thing for Trout. I can say the same thing for, like, Crawford's way better than Trout, and Trout almost beat Canelo. So what would happen if they're both the same size? So, I mean, to me, it's that kind of argument, and people, they've been brainwashed by the fucking machine. That's why I told y'all that they sold y'all a lie in 2020, in 2021, where they want Canelo. Go fight bigger guys. These guys are mediocre. I mean, Caleb Smith almost fucking lost to Ryder, but he's big, so it's gonna look good. A 5'7" guy beating a 6'3" guy, it's gonna look impressive. But if you actually go into context, dude, fucking John Ryder should have beat Caleb Smith. So is it really that impressive? Not really. So I mean, I just don't get how. Okay, yeah, go.
Go ahead. No, well, that part I disagree with. I think the most impressive thing in boxing is to go up weight classes and beat bigger men. I think that's what made Manny Pacquiao so great, was he was able, when he fought Margarito, look, it doesn't matter if Margarito wasn't the most skilled, if he wasn't, the best boxer, but just the size comparison and how tough it looked. I mean, just like what you say with the eye test, Floyd Mayweather, going up, that's the reason he gets so much credit for being Canelo Alvarez, because Canelo Alvarez was the bigger guy as far as weight goes. Now we know Canelo Alvarez is a small Mexican. He's not a big, like David Benavidez type, but that's what people, that's how they measure greatness. Sugar Ray Leonard going up to beat Marvin Hagler. That's how people objectively look at boxing.
Yeah,
is the smaller man going up to beat, and that's why guys like Benavidez, Marvin Hagler, or people who stay in the same division, like Inoue, he could probably stay at a smaller weight and beat up everybody, but that's what's making it exciting and challenging, is that they're showing him going up in weight.
I want to use your example by Pacquiao. So when Pacquiao beat Margarito, he's at 154, and he beat Margarito. Can you tell me who Canelo Alvarez has beat at 168 that's as good as Margarito was at 154, or even at 175? I mean, Cotto, but Cotto was 37. He had too much to recover, right? When Pacquiao beat Margarito was on his game. But Mayweather beat Canelo. Yeah, Canelo was fucking young, 23 years old. He was, a consensus top 5 pound-for-pound fighter. All the guys Canelo Alvarez beat at 168 weren't even close to the fucking top 10 at the time. Yeah, again, beating big guys is important, but these guys need to be fucking good themselves. They can't just be big. They have to be good and big. By that same metric, I can fucking use Tank. Tank's fighting big guys, but they're not that fucking good. So, I mean, that's, they're like, there's the context comes into it.
Ryan was good. It was just he was weight trained. Barrios is good. I mean, he just went up and became a champion. Look, I think. Wait. Let me come on, Los. Like, damn, have a conversation, dude.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, go. My bad.
Okay. Look, man, I think we talk about guys like Barrios and Ryder and Munguia and Neri. Those are good fighters. Like, in the context of boxing, they're top-rated world-class fighters. Now, when you and I talk, we call guys scrubs, but in reality, Mario Barrios is not a scrub, and neither is Neri, and neither is Munguia. Right? Would you agree with that?
No,
okay.
I think it's all relative. And look, you were bringing up when Pacquiao beat Margarito and Floyd beat Canelo, right? Or when Duran beat somebody. Dude, Margarito. We're talking about ATGs here. We're talking about when Floyd beat Canelo. Canelo is a future Hall of Famer. Dude, Canelo's beating Caleb Smith. That's like when I call them bums, it's relative to the example you used about using Margarito. When Pacquiao beat Margarito, you say, "Oh, Pacquiao beat Margarito, so he's beating bigger guys." Yeah, they're bigger and better. I mean, they're bigger and good. Canelo's is fighting bigger guys, not that good. And listen, if beating bigger guys in Canelo's case, if it's everything, then why was it that all of Canelo's toughest fights came from guys his own size compared to what he beat at 168? Why is that? If bigger is better for Canelo and his career, then why was it his toughest 50-50 fights, 15-13-ish, draw-ish fights came from guys like Cotto, Trout, Golovkin, all the same size as him, Lara, 15-13 type of fight. Why is that
Well,
then?
because they were really good fighters.
Again,
when you're saying the same size, but no, you're trying to say they were the same size, but we know that Canelo was still smaller. He's been moving up.
Really?
You have to get acclimated to the weight. That's like saying when T.O. beat Taylor, a casual will say, "Oh, well, they're the same size. They're at the same weight class." But you, as a boxing head, would have to say, "Well, no, T.O.'s moving up. We know Taylor was a bigger guy." Like you're just lumping it all together. I mean, you have to be fair. Like, okay, at 147, you would say Floyd Mayweather when he beat, who was a big 147 that he beat?
La Hoya, you could say maybe.
Who?
De La Hoya, maybe. But even then, I thought
he actually had to go up to 154 to face De La Hoya, right?
Oh, well,
but we know Floyd had been at those weights for a while already. So it wasn't like he was fighting a guy that pretty much De La Hoya and Mayweather are the same. They kind of, De La Hoya started at 130. So when you're speaking of Canelo, yeah, he was like the smaller man still because he was moving up. He was getting used to those weights. So you're not saying, go ahead.
So what you're saying is that if you're at the weight for a longer period of time and your body's used to that weight, you don't get the privilege of being the smaller guy because your body's used to that weight. Is that what you're implying?
No, you're still the smaller guy, but it's not as
it's not as evident.
You don't get the same as like a huge jump. Like you're going up 2 weight classes. You're going up doing something that nobody's ever done before. You know.
Why did you use that argument though? I don't get why you used that.
Well, you're throwing a lot of shit against the wall, and I'm trying to like wipe it all off. And
know what that because I was talking about more so about Canelo. So I was talking about, listen, all of Canelo's toughest fights came from guys his own size. That kind of show that his 168 run doesn't mean much. Just because they're bigger than him didn't mean much because his toughest fights came from fucking Cotto and Golovkin and Lada, right? The guys his fucking size.
That would be true, but those guys were the champions and they were the accomplished fighters.
And that's my argument I'm using with fucking Inoue. Where Inoue, yeah, he's fighting guys his size, but they're fucking good though. So you have to give him fucking credit, opposed to.
I'm saying, but his recent opponents, when he beat Nonair was older, right? When he beat Paul Butler, is that my mic?
Yeah, I think it's your
mic. Can you hear me?
I mean,
yeah, shit. Mute yourself.
Can you hear me pretty good, or is it messing up my end too?
Yeah, I think you have to mute yourself. Mute yourself real quick.
Okay, hold on.
Hello? Is it my mic, guys, or is it Los's mic? I think it's his mic. Is my mic fine? We're arguing about pound for pound. Can you hear me, Los? Am I crackling? Because I'm not crackling anymore. Go ahead. If you're still there, Los. Los is taking a beating, guys, in the chat. So you know what, man? It's fine. This is what I want. I want the pushback. I want the battle. Pac was the mandatory. Jake Margarito made him say hell no 154. Clarify, Poodle Sood. I remember, I think it was like at a catch weight, and he damn near killed Margarito. I don't think it's me, man. Nobody said it's me.
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, it's just, I guess it was my mic. It was fucking up, but yeah.
Okay.
Anyways.
Well, look, man. I mean, it's pound for pound. There's no overall objectivity. I'm just saying when I make my top 3, I don't even really have one. But when I talk about number 1, I'm taking into account everything you don't like to use the past, but I do. When Pacquiao was making his run, they had him number 1, I think, until before he lost to Ugas. He was always considered top 5 because of what he's done.
No, he wasn't. Come on. I think.
Are you
we all
sure?
know.
I don't.
Yeah.
No, I think he was.
Yeah, I remember I remember when you can look at the like all the pound for pound lists that they used to do, all the boxing establishments, the magazines, etc. When he lost to Ugas, right? Let's say around 2020, around that time period, he was not a top 10. I mean, my bad.
He was, man. I
Top
think
five.
he
No,
was.
my
They
bad. Top
gave him.
five. He
Oh,
was on a
top
top
five.
five. Yeah,
Okay,
he
you
was on a
might be
top
right.
five. He was on a top. And look, I told you before I came on the show that Canelo Alvarez is a fringe top 10 guy. You could put him at 9, 10, maybe even 8, but I think that's where it stops for Canelo. To me, he's not top 5. He's nowhere near top 3. And that's how Pacquiao was back at the end of his career. He had a good resume, but all of his best wins were several years ago. I think we all knew he was past his peak, and that's how I see Canelo right now. It's an opinion, because my opinion is more so geared towards what I see in the ring, what I see in Canelo's I guess in his skill set. To me, it's deteriorating. To me, it's just boxing in general.
Well, let's try to get because you're taking a beating, dude. But
no, I'm not, dude. You're not saying anything.
I'm not saying I'm cooking you. I'm saying the chat. I'm talking about the chat. I like to look at the chat, and the chat is really against you. Now, that I don't control the chat. I'm not talking shit to you saying I'm cooking you. I'm just saying they're just talking shit about you. But
yeah.
Okay, so let's try to get because I'm trying to help you here. I'm trying to say, okay, let's try to get a better picture of Los's boxing acumen and mind. So who's your like top 3 all-time greats then?
If I'm going off of just the eye test, you got. I think probably Duran. You'd have to put him in there. Sugar Ray Leonard. And then top 3 you said, right? So just one more fighter. Usyk's looking really good right now, right? What he's doing. But I wouldn't add Usyk yet. I might just I know people don't like putting heavyweights, but I would have put Lennox Lewis up in there. I would say Lennox
Lewis in your top 3?
Sure, why not? Yeah.
Skill-wise, you think Lennox? You say you go off eye test and skill.
Wait.
So
my bad. Pacquiao, because Pacquiao went over my head. Pacquiao, Leonard, and Duran. Those are my top 3. Yeah.
Pacquiao ahead of everybody. Pacquiao number 1.
Yeah, I forgot about Pacquiao. I know we're just using him right now, but he went over my head because I was thinking more so 80s, 90s, but yeah, Pacquiao definitely.
Pacquiao, Leonard, Sugar Ray Leonard, and Duran.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough. Me personally, I don't really rate fighters, and I guess I'm just being ignorant or a casual, but I really only rate fighters that I've been alive to see or when I started following boxing. So more so Leonard, Duran, those are my parents, my grandparents and parents' age. You know what I'm saying? And moving more so, like even Julio Cesar, I was, those were more of my father, grandfather, and uncles. I'm really like Mayweather, Canelo, Pacquiao, and a little bit of Oscar De La Hoya. So it's really hard to rate fighters that I didn't watch. Now, are you saying you watched Duran and Leonard and them?
So I watched their top fights. I would say I watched about 3 Duran fights, and I've watched several Leonard fights.
And the reason...
And I grew up with Pacquiao, so I watched his fights.
But the reason I'm saying is because, like, I wasn't alive to know what the politics and who ducked who. And now I know they fought each other, but I don't know the context as far as, like, the age and were they already taking beatings. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can detail Mayweather's career. I go, no, when he fought Ricky Hatton was coming up in weight. When he fought Marquez, yeah, he was a name, but he was actually a 135-pounder. Right, so I can kind of critique the fighters I'm about to give you more so or less. Do you understand what I'm saying?
So the better question would have been from 2000 and up. Who do you think is the best fighters of all time?
Well, no, since you've been following boxing, since where you know their stats and their history.
Yeah, okay. Well, if I want to go by that, then I would say Pacquiao. Usyk and I would say Usyk. Let me make sure Usyk. Yeah, because me it was more so like the late 2000s. So Pacquiao.
You're not surprised you don't have Roy Jones Jr. in there.
Well, no, because first of all, Roy, he was more so 90s, and I did study his career a tad bit, but to be honest,
you go by like eye
Okay.
test, and everybody would
Yeah,
be
yeah,
like Roy Jones. Eye test.
yeah. So again, to me, by the eye test, to me, Roy, his skill set to me was never impressive. To be honest, I know, I guess he went by with sheer athletic ability, but I think his division was relatively weak compared to other eras and stuff like that. And to me,
Okay.
Roy,
Yeah.
I mean, hey, I'll say this, and I think y'all will agree with this, but I've been saying this for a very long time. I think Canelo would have knocked out Roy. I think that's a bad matchup. I think Roy against a explosive, accurate counterpuncher with the defense Roy had, which was very sloppy. He got away with it because he was so much more athletic than his opponents. But if you're against someone like Canelo who's a sharpshooter, Canelo's prime, that is, the prime Canelo, like the one that fought Calum and Kovalev. That Canelo, I think he knocks out Roy. Prime Canelo, that's the last time you want to be sloppy. To be a Canelo, you want to, kind of be like Bivol, I guess keep your hands up, good footwork, good jab. You don't want to give Canelo Alvarez any free shots. That's what Roy always gave his opponents, free shots. They just weren't fast enough to land it. I think Canelo's fast enough to land it. So that scenario right there to me is why I don't rate Roy that high. He wasn't fighting guys that good in his era. He just got by with athletic ability. And I just don't think, if I were to put him in hypothetical fights with other fighters, I don't think he does as well as people think he will, because the dude, to me, he had no built-in defense. To me, his fundamentals were kind of off. He just got by with just sheer athletic ability, and that worked in his era. I don't think it's going to work in every era. He's good, but I'm not going to put him as my top three. I would give that more so to Pacquiao. Usyk really, yeah. And then third, let me finish. My third would probably be I don't want to say Floyd, but I mean, the tail end of his career was quite impressive. It's shitted on, but it was impressive. I want to add Loma, but he never pulled the trigger late in fights. So Floyd knew how to win close fights. That's the thing about him. So I'd probably give it to Floyd. And this is all late 2000s and up. So around
Your
20.
era, basically the era that you started following, whether it was from your parents or grandparents.
Well,
Okay, salute BDA. Jump in anytime. Go ahead, Los.
Yeah, so that's when I started watching boxing myself. Now I've gone to the 90s and 80s and studied, the history of these fighters a bit. But you said what you watched in the moment, because the landscape and the politics. So yeah, late 2000s and up. Yeah.
Frankie, what's up,
Yo,
man?
salute BDA.
You don't mind me calling you Frankie, right? Like I told you the other day.
No, man. You can call me whatever you want, as long as it's not asshole.
Well, that was my go-to. That was the second option.
I know.
Listen, last time we talked, we were talking about the Sheik. Did you hear what he said on Twitter this time?
About lowering pay-per-views?
Yeah.
Or was he talking shit to journalists, telling them to shut the fuck up?
I don't know, man. $15 for now. When that's the thing that I'm trying to figure out. $15 just for Beterbiev Bivol, because apparently in the U.S. and in certain other marketplaces, the Bivol Beterbiev, that's main event on ESPN only. And then the zone they have, it's a separate card apparently. With Shakur Stevenson fighting on the zone card, and then so I don't know if he's talking about Beterbiev Bivol $15, but it's quite clear now that this guy doesn't give a shit about the money that's coming back to him. So he's spending a lot of money on a guy like Crawford, who, let's face the facts, the guy's spoiled. He want the only way he gets into with Canelo is for probably 100 mil. And Virgil Ortiz, he says he's not interested in them, and he's not interested in him. So I don't know how this is going to work. Is this going to work long term?
Well, that's what Turkey's saying. He's saying that his goal is to get more fans into boxing, and he thinks making the best fight the best and lowering pay-per-views will get people back into boxing, and he thinks long term it's going to help him. He's saying 5-6 years down the line, he's trying to make boxing a great sport again. To me, I don't think it's going to work. I don't think he's a good strategist, but that's what he wants to do, and I don't know. It's just, to me, it's just not going to work. But fuck it. I mean, what was happening before Turkey wasn't really good anyway. So I mean, fuck it. I mean,
let's say he lowers the prices and he keeps paying these guys, $5 million to fight each other. Or I think Crawford, he paid him $10 million for the Majima fight. So then he pays them those wages. Then let's say he goes away. Next time a promoter comes along, he's like, hey man, we got to charge the standard, $79+ dollar fee. And the fighters are going to be expecting to get paid the same thing. and then the fans are going to go, whoa, 79 from 15 bucks. So I don't see this working. I think it's a lot of talk from the Sheik. I think the Sheik, also, here's the other thing with the Sheik. He was getting into it with Jake Donovan. Now, Jake Donovan is a cock. I wouldn't want to associate with that guy in person. However, I do value freedom of speech. I think people should be allowed to criticize each other, and even if they want to go ahead and insult each other, even if there's no merit or substance to it. But this Sheik trying to control what people say, how they say it, I can appreciate him talking down to fighters and telling them, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. Get that? Yeah, sir. Okay, fantastic. As a boxing fan, that's all I care about, that he makes the fights. Then when he starts going after people on Twitter, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
The guy was sent. So the guy sent. So I mean, I agree. I think he'll be out of the sport in about 3 years at most. I think 2 years. And the guy's sensitive because I guess Americans don't like that. They don't like calling guys as elegancy. They don't like bowing down to people. Like that whole presentation he had in LA for the Marty Marv and Crawford fight to me was kind of cringe, but it's whatever. But I'm just acknowledging most Americans aren't going to like that. And I think he got a bad rep by the Americans. He took it out on Twitter. He was kind of criticizing American, I guess, how the Americans treat him. And he was saying that Saudi Arabia is way better and all that. And I was like, I guess it shows me that you're kind of sensitive. And this guy has other fucking projects. I think he has this club out in Spain, a soccer club out in Spain. He's doing horrific. He tried to bring a golf league to Saudi Arabia. It was a disaster. I think this guy's going to different sports and he's putting his money in different sports because that's the end goal. I think that's what the Prince is making him do. Go to different sports, put your money, in those sports and try to make, Saudi Arabian culture a prevalent, right? Because that's kind of what they want to do. They want to get revenue from other areas apart from oil, for example. So he's trying different markets, and I guess he's more so the sports. He's going into sports, but I think once he's done with boxing, he's gonna go to basketball probably or football. I think boxing right now is just a 2-year thing at most, and he'll be gone. And he's sensitive. I mean, he's gonna leave. I mean, he's gonna get tired of people, of the fans at least, shitting on him, and yeah, that's kind of how I see it happening.
What did that guy Jake Donovan say about him, BDA, to the Turkey guy?
You know what? Apparently, it all started because he was watching the Mayweather circus there against the son of that criminal there, Gotti.
Yeah, Gotti.
And he was saying that, this fight, the way these fights are coming out slow, in between fights, a lot of time. This is gonna make the Turkettes. That's how he referred to fans of the Turk. Something I'm paraphrasing here. Something like, it's gonna make him feel better, because he was saying essentially that this Riyadh season cards, they go on for too long. So apparently the Sheik, he answered back with something, or like they say nowadays, he clapped back, and then Jake Donovan started getting into it with him. And then apparently some mediator came in and resolved the situation, and Jake Donovan said, okay, I'm going to stop talking about him. But it's still, like, everything we were talking about in the last 3 weeks, the Sheik telling Tim Tszyu and Canelo, hey, you don't want to go by what I say, and I'm going to talk shit about you in public. Then holding hands with everybody. Making all these guys hold his pocket and walk behind him, following him around, probably folding his laundry, ironing his clothes. I don't know, man. It's weird. Now him getting into it with the journalists. I don't know, man. Let's not forget that. Look, I was overlooking the whole Saudi Arabia. There are human rights violations over there. Ever since 2019, when Joshua fought Luis the second time, the rematch, I was like, I don't know. I don't know what Joshua's doing over there. When he's Nigerian, he claims to be, a proud Nigerian man, Nigeria. And then he goes over there where they use Africans as slaves. So but I overlooked that as a boxing fan. I said, hey, listen, sometimes the price of doing business, right? Now I'm starting to see this dude. I'm starting to see why they still use slaves over there, because he doesn't give, he thinks he's hot shit over there. And if you don't say what he tells you to do, you're in trouble.
And the bad thing about it was he came in because I guess he wanted to fix what's been plaguing boxing for a very long time, and that's guys with a lot of money but big egos, and they don't want to work with each other. That's literally what Turkey is. He doesn't want to work with other fighters because of his ego. He doesn't want to negotiate with Tim Tszyu, with Canelo, with Tank. And I do know, obviously Tank is hard to work with, and Canelo, like, they're divas, but you have to accept that. Like, boxers are divas. They wouldn't be here without it. They have egos. They wouldn't be here without egos. If you want to fix the sport, you need to get rid of your own ego, put that aside, and do business with them. Don't act like an ego back. You're doing literally what's been plaguing the sport with other promoters that's been doing for the past decade or so. So to me, the guy's he's a bad strategist. He's throwing his money and getting people to fight. That's just not going to last forever. He'll be gone. And
Boxing is a sport that's been around for 100 years. There's a bunch of different factions there. It's very hard to get all of these guys to agree with each other. So for the Turk to come in, he started getting some people together, like Bob Arum, Eddie Hearn, even some PBC guys finally jumped ship. But then you still got some other players out there that aren't going to want to play so easily. And he's unaccustomed at being told no. So I don't know. What I predict is he's probably, if enough people start telling him no, he's going to take his ball and go home. Because with this, his model works with MMA, because there's only really one organization that matters, and that's the UFC. And Dana White has shown you that he's willing to hold his hand, do his laundry, whatever. Boxing, it's a different animal. So if enough people tell him no, or if he starts getting some pushback, and he, maybe I don't know, maybe he's like a spoiled kid with a lot of money that just goes, I'm tired, I'm bored with this, and he just leaves, or maybe even attempts to self-implode some of what's going on. Because like we were saying, he seems like a guy like he's got thin skin. Can't handle it. He's unaccustomed on being criticized and being told no.
Yeah.
So that dude, he's probably gonna, I don't know, if enough people, I'm very curious to see what happens in 2025. If enough people tell him no, and he leaves. Now, the best case scenario for us boxing fan is maybe people just start playing ball with him, or maybe he complies or starts making some concessions himself, and we get the fights that we want. But so far, I'm a little dubious now.
Yeah.
Jump in any time. Yeah, I agree. I mean, his whole pitch or marketing was that he was just going to make the best fight. That was his whole what he threw out there. Now, like you said, he's talking shit to people. He's telling them to shut the fuck up. He's holding hands with people, and he said if he wanted to make the best fights, why isn't he making Canelo Benavidez, or what's another big fight that he could make that we're not getting? Crawford versus Ortiz.
Or Tank versus Shakur Stevenson. I mean, that's not a big box office fight or as big as Canelo Benavidez, but it's a fight that should be happening. I mean, you got two undefeated Americans who are very talkative, very vociferous, and they're not fighting. They're circling around each other, and Cepeda wants Lomachenko, Tank Davis wants Lomachenko. That guy's old news. I'm not interested in seeing Lomachenko anymore, to be honest. Or they want Cepeda, they want the Mexican money. Why are fighting each other? Why won't they fight each other?
Nobody wants to see Shakur fight. That's why.
I know. Well, I mean, listen. There's with enough massaging, you can make that fight.
It's a competitive fight. I think that's what we want. It's boring, but it's competitive at least, right? It's 50-50.
Not competitive at all, bro.
Tank Shakur.
Who do you think wins, Puro?
Huh?
Who do you think wins?
Oh, Tank easily, bro. I mean, come on.
Easily.
Bro.
But
easily, bro. Shakur Stevenson is not a good fighter, bro.
Well, I mean, but it's competitive, though. I mean, it's a fight we would like to see it. I mean, it's better than Tank fighting.
To see that fucking fight, bro.
Better than Tank fighting Frank Martin, and it's better than Shakur fighting Cordina. I mean, we want that fight. I mean, personally, I want Loma Tank, but whatever, it's not gonna happen. I mean, it might happen, but I don't know. But I also like to go back to Turkey and like his plans. Like, I guess his idea for wanting to make boxing a league that mimics what the UFC does. To me, that'll be horrible, because how are you going to get young talent in boxing with an organization like that? Something that's like a league. Like, what we want to do is each division gets 20 fighters. That's it. How are you going to know how other fighters, if they're good enough to join your league, if fighters are not in this organization, what are they going to be fighting for if sanctioning bodies don't really exist no more? And it's just a league. You're not going to pull talent as efficiently like you do right now with the sanctioning bodies. And I can critique the sanctioning bodies all I want. I think the sanctioning bodies are corrupt in itself. But I think that's the ideal way for boxing to work, to get young talent in. With an organization, it's just to me, it's just closed. It's kind of like you're in a box now, and it's going to be very hard to tell who belongs in that box. And it's just, the fighters aren't going to get built up as good. It's going to be very hard to get fucking fighters from Kazakhstan or the Philippines. To me, it's going to be more like just Western. It's just European and American, and whoever has enough money to be with the Saudis, right? That's kind of how I see his organization. With the UFC, it's easy because the UFC isn't as like vast as boxing is. It's not as international. It's just, there's Russians here and there, but boxing, I mean, dude, the lower weight divisions is all fucking Southeast Asians, right? And plus, he's saying he wants to reduce the weight divisions too, the number of weight divisions. He wants to reduce that as well. And I'm like, dude, like, what are you doing? I don't know. I
wouldn't mind reducing the weight divisions. There's too many as it is. Do it old school. If you're over 147, you're a middleweight. Deal with it. That's the way I'd like to do it. But even the Riyadh season cards aren't looking that good anymore. The qualities. I mean, you look at the Dubois versus Joshua one. It's okay, but it's compared to what we've been getting so far. And then the Beterbiev Bivol one too. I mean, that one was like, what the fuck are they doing? Putting Shakur Stevenson on there as a co-main, as like they like to call it. I mean, that's insane. That's his box office poison.
And the tourneys has always been a pipe dream, at least in the immediate, bro, because it's a fucking logistical nightmare, bro. Because all these, most of these, fucking, at least in the top, say 20 in each division, they're all under contract. All these promoters have deals with different, networks. Excuse me. So yeah, that was always going to take time. You can't just put on a tournament, bro. Just
the Saudis want to. The Saudis aren't good strategists. They're just not. That's not. Their cities are very poorly infrastructured. I mean, they had a flood. They had to create artificial rain. They got a huge flood. Turkey's put his money in other sports and it's been a disaster. So I'm not surprised. And he'll be gone soon. And boxing will be worse than what it was. But fuck it. I mean,
it'll be staying.
Somebody was saying, hey, why don't you want to see Lomachenko anymore? Well, I mean, because first of all, he's older now. I think he's been there and done it all already, and I don't want to see the guy give it his all, win the fight, and then they take it away from him. I mean, I'm not interested in that anymore. We got fresh blood, man.
I'd rather see it than Shakur. I'll tell you that.
I mean, yeah, but that's you, Pudo. I mean, I know you're a very high octane guy.
Everybody, bro.
No, but
literally, the only people that talk about Shakur are people that are like literally trying to get clicks for their channels.
You're a risk taker.
That's a bad mouth them.
You're a risk taker. You need to. The only way you get your jollies off is you need to do something dangerous and all that. So you're a breed apart.
Who the hell wants to see that fight in particular? Nobody wants to see it, bro. Like,
I mean, I want to see it because I want to see what happens. I want to see it get it over with. It's two.
Already saw it 3 times. What are you talking about?
Are you talking about Shakur Stevenson or Tank Davis?
What?
They already fought 3 times.
You saw that particular fight 3 times. You saw against Akatile, which is no Tank Davis. But like he literally ran fucking like his life depended on it. You saw it against De Los Santos, and did I be
first of all, I mean,
3 or 2.
No,
I think it might have been 2, but it might have been 3. Go ahead.
No, I know what you're saying, but that's a fight like everyone wants to see. Because the thing is it's easy to say like, oh, it's a far gone conclusion, but you still want to see that far gone conclusion.
I mean, those are the 2 best guys. I guess you want to put Loma out of the equation. Those are the 2 best guys at 135. So let's see the 2 best at the division fight, except for fucking Frank Martin and Cordina. They're fighting those guys, right? But even then, I'm the whole Santos comparison.
I'm actually kind of glad that Shakur is gonna fight. Well, no Cordina, but at least he's gonna fight. He's gonna be in a fight. With many spectacles and on the court. Just because I got the feeling that he's not gonna look as good as I think he's gonna lose a little worse than the Haratunian fight.
Worse than that? Jesus.
No, I mean, no. In the Haratunian fight, he looked good. I like how he displayed his skills. It just not what he bragged about. What everybody expected from Shakur. The thing is, everybody expected from Shakur, like he's like the last Coca-Cola in the damn desert, but he's not. He's a good fighter, don't get me wrong, very talented, but he's not what everybody, make it out to be. And I think he's gonna look very average against Joe Cordina still. Even though Joe Cordina has like everything to lose, moving on the division, coming off a knockout, even though the fight before that, he got knocked out. I think he lost 2. He got a gift decision. He's not no longer with his coach anymore, with his trainer. I mean, so he's gonna come with a new trainer and a new weight division, coming off a knockout. But I think he's gonna make Shakur Stevenson look kind of bad. Because I was seeing a couple of his fights, and the thing about Cordina, he's not a small dude, and he's like 5'10", 5'9". He just was boiling down to 130, just like Jamal Herring.
But there's a reason why.
Yeah, of course, because he wanna do the everybody in America been doing, weight bullying.
And there's a reason. I don't think he's not that good, so he needs to weight cut in order to to be competitive against the top competition. I think
also it
Shakur
was
beats this guy easily.
no, no. I'm explaining you why. The reason why Cordina and a couple of fighters didn't have a move up to 135, like the you know the Shaki Fosters, the Cordinas that now he's moving up is because they didn't have the opportunity to have a belt or a high ranking fight. Because the thing about 135 is it's not many fights going on. You know what I mean? Unless it's like unheard of fighters, like it's not really much going on. So you're gonna move up for what? To these guys avoid you. Loma is not gonna fight you because you're moving up. One of the stars. The stars is already locked up. Unless you're a long hanging fruit, they're not gonna pick you. So what in the hell are you gonna move to 135 for? All the birds are locked up. Gervonta Davis with the PBC isn't gonna fight with me. Shakur Stevenson is a coin toss. The only guy that I think is gonna be willing to fight will be Varenchik and what was the other guy?
Sabela, but I don't even think Sabela has a belt. Does he have a belt?
Cepeda doesn't have a belt just yet.
Yeah.
But that's the thing though,
He's number one in all sanctioning bodies though.
And that's the thing though, whoever moves up, let's say if you have the WBO, you have to fight Cepeda in order to get that belt, right?
Not necessarily.
If it's the WBO, yeah, because you have to be either the mandatory, just like Young Ryder, be the dude to get the Canelo fight to the WBO, the one that Andrade ducked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but so I get your argument that it was easier to get a better 130, and that is true. But at the end of the day, I think money is also very important for fighters' career. I think even fighting the contenders at 135 would have made Cordina more money, right? If you're fighting
contenders, dog, that's a problem.
Sabela, Sabela's been around for been a contender for a while now. 135.
You don't want to move up
Well, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's just there's a reason why.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, okay, and you make some good points too. But I'm just saying, the point is, I just don't think Cordina will have a good fight with Shakur. To me, it's just typical Shakur fight. I think he'll win just how he always wins, just outboxing them and whatever, and it'll just be a snooze fest, and we'll see afterwards. Hey, Cordina.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that one.
Stevenson Davis needs to happen because everything I hear is America this, America that. America's the center of boxing, still the mecca of boxing. Well, make that if the mecca of boxing can make that fight, just like it took Spence versus Crawford 5 years to make, and that wasn't even a mega fight, that underperformed. They gotta make this one. And now in regards to, is it gonna be boring? Okay, maybe it is boring, but guess what? I want to see if Tank Davis, if Shakur Stevenson starts running around the way he did against Dos Santos, Tank Davis ain't gonna be able to catch him. He's not a come forward guy. Look at it. He looked awkward against Frank Martin coming forward.
Yeah, so
I don't think he can catch Shakur
and he
Stevenson.
still knocked him out, bro. Like it doesn't matter how you look. It matters.
It does matter how you look because then because Shakur Stevenson is better than Frank Martin. So that's what I want.
Yeah.
And you know what?
I don't believe so.
You might be right. You might be right that maybe Shakur Stevenson is. But guess what? I want to find out for sure. That's why I want to see the fight. And Shakur Stevenson, I think maybe he gets a decision against Tank Davis, and I would like to see what happens if, first of all, the build up to that fight. You got the Shakur Stevenson fans, you got the who are not as numerous as the Tank Davis fans, but they're there too. They're quite vocal, and then you got the Tank Davis fans who are very passionate about him. So I want to see them go at it too as well in the build up to these fights. So there's a whole thing that could be entertaining, and I just want to find out what happens.
Yeah, like I'm wait.
What happened? Yeah, no, it's a great fight. I think it's a great fight.
Well, not great, but you know what I mean.
You don't think it's a great fight? I think it. I mean, they're considered number one.
You were trying to convince us of BDA.
Yeah.
That was me.
Yeah, so I mean, I was to say, but I got cut off a little bit. But I'm the lone wolf here. I've told Budo this on different panels. I got Shakur beating Tank if they do fight. I would bet on Shakur. I think what Shakur brings, I think it's something that'll give Tank a lot of problems. I think Shakur's power is underrated. I think he has enough power to stop taking his tracks. And this is the biggest argument I have against people that use the Nakatila fight and the Dos Santos fight, really, is that these guys, first of all, Dos Santos, call me crazy, people call me delusional, but Dos Santos has better footwork than Tank does when he comes forward. Dos Santos is longer. Right, so Shakur is a long-range fighter. He likes to box on the outside. Shakur has a reach advantage over Tank, meaning he can score points and be in his comfort zone because Tank has the reach disadvantage, right? So Shakur's going to be able to outland Tank because he's going to be on the outside. That's hard to do. That's hard to do against Dos Santos because Dos Santos is long. He's quick. distance very quickly.
I agree with you though. I agree
Yeah.
with you. I actually see like what you're saying, like how like because I actually like a couple of times I like play like the fight in my mind, even though I want to see it live. I see. To me, it's a 50-50 fight. I see like ways that Shakur can beat Tank, and I see ways that Tank can beat Shakur. Because the thing is, you can make Shakur down himself, and I'm with you with the reach and everything, but something that Shakur is not really used to is like fighting somebody who's faster than him, and some faster who get underneath his punches, and that's something that Tank actually can do. The thing I don't really see is like Tank knocking out Shakur, just because Shakur is an actual full-fledged big lightweight, not drained. Hopefully he won't be drained on or about to leave the weight division, or about to leave the weight division before he fights him, because he's not a small dude. I see him in person. We are around like the same area. He's no when he's off the fight camp, bro. He looks like Fat Albert.
Oh yeah,
you saw him in person?
Yeah, he like
was he beating up? Were you with a bunch of women at a car wash and he beat you guys up? Or?
No. I'm not his friend.
like okay, like the comments are saying first of all, Frank Martin was landing very good counters on Tank, but Frank has no fucking power. I think Shakur has enough power. He's a strong guy.
That's all Frank has is power.
The thing about what's his name? That fight, Frank Martin against Tank.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I'm not gonna give many flowers to Tank for that fight, because the rumor came out that, and it was actually like proven that he actually was weight drained in that fight.
Oh wow!
Like he almost.
Oh, I'm saying wow! Like I didn't know that. Yeah, man. Makes sense.
Yeah. Who gives a shit? Like at the end of the day, bro, don't sign the contract if you're coming in weight drain, bro.
It's very important, actually.
I mean, everybody brings up these points, bro, and they're fucking retarded, bro. I just gotta say that. Go ahead.
Very important.
No, that's very important. What are you talking about?
It's not important at all, bro, because the fighters are. If you think it's important, then the fighters might think it's important as well. So at the end of the day, bro, if it's really think that it's gonna fucking affect them that much in the fight, where it's gonna be like literally the difference between winning and losing, they could not sign the fight, or they can negotiate.
I mean, you also have to see this though. They taking a gamble on themselves as well. Like, bro, I'm gonna take the short end of the stick. If you beat this dude, I'm gonna make like way more money if you beat this dude.
Yeah,
so
like
if you take the weight. And here's the thing though: if Tank loses that fight, he disappeared.
Yeah, like these
I get that,
yeah,
bro,
like,
but they
nah,
take the gamble, right?
I don't think
you don't always win your
gambles. But here's the thing. Man. But here's the thing: we're talking about analyzing a fight and picking a winner. So you have to consider the fact that the weight cut will affect the guy, and that you might not have seen the best version of that fighter. I agree with you. If these guys take the fight, they take the fight. But we're arguing different things here. The point we're making is, when you analyze a fight and try to pick a winner, you gotta take all things into consideration, all factors. And if a guy was weight draining one fight, and he still gave fighter a tough fight, then you have to take that into consideration and go, well, what happens if Shakur Stevenson isn't weight drained?
Plus, you get him paid, more than you ever get paid before.
Exactly.
Like it's not money. It's not much that you're gonna say no. Especially like Frank Martin never made $1 million, and he make over $1 million in that fight. Of course, you're gonna say, you don't care what the hell's in the fight.
like.
I just point this though.
It's on the fight. I'm just saying you can't.
Hold on.
I mean, the fighters aren't. The fighters aren't.
No, but the point is, you don't have somebody even though you sign. I agree with you on that particular part. Like, it's not Tank's fault if you sign. You sold for money, but at the end of the day, it's still scratching on your cap, because you don't have somebody in the ring who's 100%, and that's something that you wanted purposely on the contract. But this guy 100%, I can beat this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Again, there's a reason why. But
at the end of the day, they still sign, bro. That
hold up,
nullifies
like, you're looking at it from the point of view.
Any reservations you might have in your head, bro.
So Budo, I think Budo, you have a very bad imagination. You have a very hard time putting yourself in the other boss's shoes. Yeah, you have a very bad imagination.
I don't, bro.
No, because at the end of the day, you have the inability to put your
the fights that are happening up ahead. Okay, whatever. But the fights that already happened, bro, there's no excuse, bro. weight drain, no weight
absolutely
drain,
no
weight
idea
hydration,
what you're
no
fucking
weight
talking
hydration
about.
clause.
The reason why
You
some of those
lost.
fights never
That's
happen,
it.
bro.
You
Listen,
have no idea what
lost.
you're talking about, Budo.
Nobody
So,
else.
so be
No,
quiet.
bro,
So,
you don't have anything.
no.
Like,
So, Budo,
like,
Budo.
how do you know more than I do?
Okay, well, I'll explain it. See, you
No,
can't.
like, bro, it's not multiple choice,
Okay,
bro. It's really
you
quick,
can.
bro. Like, literally,
Yeah, it is
why?
multiple choice. So listen,
No, it isn't,
you
bro.
have a hard
Like,
time
literally,
putting
you
yourself in
either
other fighters'
fucking been in that
shoes.
situation
You
or
just
you
do.
haven't.
Like it's
At the end of the
obvious.
day,
You're just not that fucking
we
bright. You
know
Right,
the
Budo,
same
Budo.
things, bro.
Puto,
just
I'm
keep
gonna
it-
give you an example.
Talking
Though.
about, I don't know what I'm talking about, bro.
Okay, Puto. I competed in the amateurs for like over 12 to 15 years. Okay.
Yeah, amateurs ain't the pros,
When I
bruh.
couldn't make, hold
You
up.
just
When I
stop right
couldn't
there,
make,
bruh.
hold on. When I couldn't make bantamweight, you know, which is a couple of pounds north than the pros. I wanted to take that fight because it was, you know, the last of the tournament, last fight of the tournament, right? Thank God it was just 3 rounds, but I know in my soul if that fight would have go at least like 30 more seconds, bro, I wouldn't be done. Now imagine in a pro fight, man, that you don't have like all the energy that you need to like go 12. Like for example, I don't make much of Mario Barrios. You know, to me, he's like a regular fighter. You know,
Yeah,
he's like Andre Berto, in my opinion. You know, a
Yeah,
talented
like-
guy, physically gifted, but you know, he's just not into the cat for to be amongst the elite. You know what I mean? But
Like Budo is having a very hard time putting
That
his.
was a nice story, bro. And
No, wait, Budo, Budo.
Amateurs and shit, bro. But
Wait,
I don't
Budo,
know
you're having
if
very
that's
hard time putting yourself on.
relevant. But
Yeah, Budo, you have a very
Nah,
hard time putting yourself on the fighter's shoes. Okay, like you have to understand.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Not at
like,
all. Why would I have trouble putting myself in the fighter's shoes?
Because it's going to show you their perspectives, the different perspectives. Things to show you, hey, we're looking at it from the perspective of
I
fans.
can't see their perspective because I
Yeah,
don't
you
know.
can.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
you
with
can.
you.
Yeah, you can. Because looking at it from Frank Martin's perspective.
Bro, none of us can, bro.
Again, yeah, you can.
What are
Because
you
Frank Martin is going to
talking
pay a lot of
about,
money.
bro?
Frank Martin's going to pay a lot of money.
Bro, it's not
And Frank
about-
Martin is
bro.
delusional. Okay, I mean, again, these guys think these guys have so much confidence in themselves.
It's not about.
They think they
it's
can
not
win
a-
fights
hold on,
even if
hold
they're
on.
fucking dehydrated.
Steaming, I got it. Steaming, it's not about the. I know what you're saying, and it's a really good point. But the point that we're trying to say, and I think we were struggling, you know, is because the quality of the product, you know, is diminished when you do those type of things. I get it, they signed the contract, but remember, a lot of those guys don't have that many options. You know what I mean? Look what they did with
I don't have that
Frank
many.
Martin.
What? I'm sorry.
Hold on.
Did I catch that last part?
Like a lot of those guys don't have that many options, like contractually. Like, gonna give you an example. Frank Martin, it's not that he didn't want or dog Shakur, it's because he couldn't. He was prohibited to take that fight because of his contract. You know what I mean? Like those guys in the PVC, they're like rightful hosts. I get you. We cannot put ourselves in the fighter's shoes. I get it.
Okay.
But you have to put yourself. Hold on. You have to put yourself as a customer because you're getting a diminished product. If you're paying pay-per-view, you know what I mean? You want something that you're gonna remember at least for the rest of that year. You don't want something that you hold on, yeah, of course, but you don't want something that you know the guy is a less fighter, is a less intelligent, less IQ, less power. On top of that, the dude is you know having eaten like in 2 days, aka he's you know on a weight class.
Yeah,
like
it's
like
a
Ryan
huge.
Garcia.
No, I get
It
it.
plays a huge
But, I mean,
factor.
I still don't
I don't-
understand how that applies, but all right.
It applies
because-
because the thing is,
because-
we're talking as a customer, because we're talking about like all those type of things, all those shenanigans. I get it, they sign it, but at the end of the day, they're making more money than us. At the end of the day, again, some of those guys they don't have an option. Frank Martin always was Tank Davis to have. Shakur couldn't do nothing to do that on any of the other fighters in that division. But the point is, we watch a diminished product on that Frank Martin. But imagine if that fight wouldn't happen at 140.
Yeah, I
Frank
can imagine.
Martin-
Okay,
Frank
bro.
Martin,
At
he
the
will
end
never-
of the day,
hold
what I
on.
mean, what are you trying to tell me? That life is
Let me finish.
life is not fair? Life ain't fair?
Okay.
I mean,
It's
I
not-
think
No, we're
Bruh, it's
telling
not
you
about
that it
fairness,
matters. We're
Dude.
telling you that you have to put rehydration and all that into consideration when a fighter loses because he
Dude,
was
if you're
dehydrated.
paying a
It's
pay-per-view,
fucking
bro,
real.
you
yeah,
want-
but as soon as they sign the contract, as soon as they put glove
No,
up, as
but
soon
this
as
is
the
where you have a
fight
bad
goes
time putting
down,
yourself on the
no
fighter's
longer
shoes, dude.
matters.
You have a very-
you don't have nothing to
No
say that.
longer matters, Los. No longer matters.
No, listen,
Buddha.
look, these fighters are going to accept it. And if they accept it, that's fine. It still doesn't negate the fact that they're fucking dehydrated and they're compromised
There
to
you
an
go.
extent. It's going to have a fucking
Well, yeah,
effect.
I-
It
Right
is.
on
It
top
doesn't
of
matter
that,
if they
There's
accept it or
nothing we
not.
can do about it, bro. Like it's common
you're
in
right,
boxing.
Well,
Buddha,
no
Shit happens.
shit. There's nothing you can do about it. But
Shit
what I
happens.
can do is take away credit from your win by fucking breaking down the
that's what
context.
You can do. You can literally do whatever.
Well,
You
that's
can
what we
literally
all do.
suck
That's what we all do
all
instead of
day
fucking
long,
retards
bruh.
like you
You
with
can
no
literally
imagine.
suck dick
Yeah,
all
okay.
day long, bro. That's
Oh, you're the one doing it, not me. You're the one doing it, not me.
Taking away the credit of the fighter,
Come on,
bro.
man.
Like I get it. If we're gonna talk about it, like yeah, you know, like if like I get where Jose's coming from. I totally get where Jose's coming from. Trust me, I get it. I've had that conversation with myself and with other boxing fans throughout the years. But at the end of the day, bruh, it's like it is what it is.
No, pero Puro, I'm not against your point. That's the thing. I'm just saying that.
No, I don't understand that you are, and even if you were, Jose, it's cool. I mean, like we're not gonna always agree. You know, we're different people.
We're just talking crap. Yeah.
No, we're talking shit. We're analyzing the fight, but I mean, at the end of the day, trust me, bro. Like literally, I've been watching boxing for like fucking 35 fucking years, bro. Trust me, I understand what you're trying to.
I don't think you do.
How about this? Since we're talking about Tank and Haney, Tank and Shakur fighting, what do you guys think about this? Why are they all chasing Lomachenko though? You know, Tank is trying to chase Loma, Shakur is trying to chase Loma. I think William Zepeda wanted to chase Loma. You know, they're chasing that guy while avoiding each other. Is that
because he's old? He's old. Meanwhile, those guys are young. They're the same age, and they don't want to fight each
So,
other.
Frank, you know, have you ever watched Animal Planet?
Yes.
So you know that in any, you know, in a pack of lions, so usually they go for the oldest. You know what I mean? The oldest, or like this, or the smaller, or the smaller of the pack. You know, to kill. So I think that's what they're trying to do. They either pick somebody who's too green or somebody who's really old, aka Lomachenko. And I don't know if you see sometimes, but sometimes they call out like Keyshawn Davies and all these guys with like less than like 15 fights and shit. Like,
right.
They get like a drag out arguments in Twitter. Which is
like
pretty
the good thing
disgusting in my
about
opinion.
like the good thing about Loma, if you beat Loma, you get credit. The guy's a name. He doesn't bring in much money, but he's a name that you want on your resume to keep a lot of credit.
Well, he's a champion as well. I mean, the problem I have is that we talk about Haney and Shakur like that. To me, in my opinion, that's the fight that should be made. But in typical boxing fashion, they want to go after, like Jose saying, the old lion. And I'm me personally, you guys might not agree with it, but I'm glad Loma said, "No, fuck y'all. I'll let you guys fight it out, and then I'll come back next year and fight the winner."
Well, I'm kind of torn.
Because I think they did to Loma when he actually was, you know, more competitive in fights.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of torn because I agree that Tank's team did try to age out Loma. It's obvious they didn't have this urgency 7 years ago when the fight should have happened. But I'm still torn because I think Loma beats Tank, but I do know it's not guaranteed. It's risky, but I'm very confident Loma beats Tank right now. But it's whatever. I mean, I get it. So fuck Tank for his team trying to age out Loma. So it's
I mean, Tim Bradley is on here saying that Loma's a duck. He said that Tim Bradley was on the podcast saying that Loma's a duck and he don't want to go out on a shield knocked out. And it's like, wait a minute, the guy's already fought Tio. He's already fought Jermaine Ortiz. He's already fought Haney. In my opinion, got robbed. But now Tim Bradley, a supposed expert, has the nerve to call Lomachenko a duck.
Well, he's racist, but yeah, I mean, Tio at 135 was better than Tank was. Loma fought Tio, so I mean, it's just.
Timothy Bradley is the typical, shield for Top Rank, because I think he heard something about, or probably he knows that Top Rank is about to like cash out on Loma. He's old, he's not generating much money. He only has a belt right now, so he better just sacrifice it to somebody in house. But the thing is, I think Loma, I think he peeped game, and I think he's just gonna, he's gonna preserve that virginity of his,
Yeah.
He will, and I'm with him. Like, why all these motherfuckers gonna fight each other? Like, why I have to fight every fucking body? Like, fuck this dudes. Like,
yeah.
I'm gonna go back to Ukraine and
That's why Stevenson and Davies are put on the spot now. The spotlight's on them. Like, people are starting to ask the question, hey, why aren't these guys fighting each other? Undefeated. Doesn't Shakur seems to have a title? I don't follow titles, but I think he's got a strap.
He has a WBC.
There you go. So he's got a strap. Tank Davis has a strap. They're undefeated. Make that fight happen. No. They want to fight. One guy wants to fight Cepeda. The other guy's Stevens is not even fighting. I mean, Davis isn't even fighting. There's not.
And you know what's funny, BDA?
Well, hold on. There was a rumor that there was going to be another PBC card. Oh, the PBC is returning. The PBC is returning. I mean, listen, it's September the 2nd. So if they make a Tank Davis fight, it's probably going to be at the last minute. The way they did with the Frank Martin one. But it's September, man. We got a couple of months left for 2024. Is he gonna fight, or what's gonna happen?
Well, what I'm hearing, and not a rumor, it's just a rumor, but I heard they want him to fight El Rayo. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but take it for what you want.
So he can fight El Rayo at 144. He can fight Haney at 140, huh?
I mean,
ain't that a bitch?
You know, yeah. That's what he wants
well,
to do.
fellas, it's I'm at the mark. I gotta go get dinner.
I don't think so, man.
Well, you can keep hosting BA if you want.
Didn't I hear somebody said you were going to stay on live till the Inoue fight?
Yeah. I don't know what these guys are smoking.
That, yo?
I gotta go get a line first, man. I gotta go get some scante first, man. I mean, I'll leave it on if you guys want to cook, but I can't have no dead air. I can leave it on for a little bit. You guys gotta keep it going.
I don't know if you want to do that.
Real. BDA, if Shakur and Tank fight, who are you gonna talk about, bro?
Who am I going to talk about?
Yeah, like literally, like, bro, like that fight's over. Who are you gonna talk about, bro?
Oh, there's always somebody next, man. There's always somebody down the pipe.
Yeah,
literally channels exist because of that fucking one fantasy fight, bro. It's never gonna happen.
I want to end it. Parting shots. I want everybody to give me their top 3 pound for pound because that was the theme, and then your last shots. And are you gonna watch the Inoue fight? So I'll start with Los. Go ahead, top 3, and are you gonna watch Inoue?
Yeah, so top 3 is in no order: Usyk, Crawford, and Inoue. The Inoue fight to me, no, it's 2. It's not going to be ideal for my time zone. And I want to say, the biggest dumbass I've come across in the wide CBC is Boodle. The guy's a fucking retard. Doesn't know what he's talking about half the time. He's drunk half the fucking time. It sounds like. That's all I have to fucking say. Peace out, y'all.
Every time, bro.
Later.
Those considered
All right, Boodle, you want to go? You can respond. Go ahead. Top 3 pound for pound. Are you gonna watch? Are you gonna watch Inoue, and then you can clap back on Los? Go ahead.
Nah, man. Los is the homie, man. He's just a little casual. It's all good. What was I gonna say? So of course I'm gonna watch Inoue, bro. Like, what the fuck we talking about? And my top 3 is Canelo, Inoue, and Bud. In no particular order.
Salute. Thank you. Come back, man. Thank you, Los. Thank you, Pudo. Thank you for joining. Jose, go ahead. Drop your top 3. Are you gonna watch Inoue, and if you want to clap on anybody?
Well, I have Usyk, Inoue, and Bud, and yeah, I'm gonna watch the Inoue fight. I want to see how he looks.
No Canelo in your top? Okay.
No, I don't have it on my top. Honestly, not.
I know. I'm just ribbing you, brother.
He's top 4. He's in the Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
There's only 4 faces in there, but you actually top 3, right? Like,
you ain't a hater. No, for sure, you're not a hater. But thank you. Hit the like on your way out. Jump back next time. And then the BDA top 3 pound for pound. Are you gonna stay up and on some scante and watch Inoue, and you want to clap at anybody?
Most important pound for pound list is a YTBC list, and I'm number 1, and that's all you need to know about that. For sure. And if I want to clap back on somebody, I'm going to clap on you for not staying on for the Inoue fight. You're open season, absolutely, and I'm coming at you. Because you're not staying on here until the Inoue fight. So, I mean, it is what it is, Frank. You're on my bad side now. No, but listen, thank you for having me on the show. And pound for pound list, I don't do them, so I have to think about it.
Might do the same way. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying I might do a pound for pound episode after the Canelo fight just to see where, if anyone's going to still include him there. So we'll see what happens, man. But Frank, thank you for having me on the show. It's always been a great show, man.
Did you say you were going to watch Inoue?
No.
Nay?
No, I'm not gonna wake up for that, man. Did you see that Nakatani Astrolabio? That was an interesting fight. That was a better fight on paper than this one, and I didn't stay up for that one. I said, fuck it. Then when I wake up, he knocked him out with one punch to the body in one round. I said, yeah, okay.
Exactly. Okay. Well, thank you, BDA. Welcome anytime. Hit the like on your way out, and let me just give shots out. OG Blaze, Impala, Never Sobers Reloaded, Sergeant, Mars Boxeo. Enjoy the rest of your guys' holiday. Labor Day, right? Enjoy some carne asada, some brewskis, some scotch, some tequila. Not sure if you got to get up early tomorrow. I do. But hopefully you're having a great holiday. Enjoy the family. Looks like we're heading into September. Inoue fights, guys. Inoue fights. I think Pound said that it's at 2 a.m. the main card, ESPN Plus. And then I think the main event is usually around 3 or 4. I guess most people said, nah, they're not going to get up to watch it. I know I watched Stephen Fulton get up. And Frank's pound for pound is, you know what, fuck it. I get called a fanboy. I'm going to just say Canelo number 1 because he is the face of boxing. Inoue number 2. And then number 3, you know what, I'm going to throw Bam in there, man. Crawford doesn't fight. He's very talented. He didn't want the Ortiz smoke. We got to see what he does. Madrimal was a decent win, but Canelo number 1. Inoue number 2, and Inoue needs to step up, man. He had 2 mid-level fights. This Donnie's like a Buster Douglas level fight. But thank you guys, everybody, for joining. Like I said, enjoy your holiday. We're gonna get the fuck out of here. And yeah, man, clap back at everybody who don't hit the like. So yeah, man, salute. Enjoy the rest of the day, and we'll be back to talk some boxing. Peace.
Hey, don't even look at him, dog.
Boy, you don't get no pussy, boy.
Nigga, I fucked this bitch last night though.
Who? That's how you fucking.
Black fighters can't take pressure, man. And that's just one thing. Black fighters can't take pressure, man. And that's just...
Where you talking to hold me on fucking week?
So we said we have to use your 9 to 7 show.
Yeah. That's what I think.
Okay, it's time for workout number 1. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Rate my pitch 1 out of 10.